7965. Drew will have the video stream up here momentarily as well on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook if that's how you like to consume the show. That is still an option for you. Look, here we are. We're about a week and a half-ish into training camp, although this is still just the, third padded practice of Camp 2026. What concerns you the most, or what question do you think you still have or have answered so far throughout camp?
So I thought about it a little bit because the defensive line, the wide receivers, maybe some of the youth in the secondary, Mahomes, right? That part of it could be at least a portion of it. There's a lot of different options that could have been the answer. But it might be because of the injuries lately, Gold. It might be the Cyrus Allen, Xavier Worthy part, in which my concern over the wide receiver depth was immediate. Like, turns out when even a fourth-round pick, who I wasn't counting on that much 2 weeks ago, goes down, and Xavier Worthy is unable to practice, and Rice is still coming back from the knee injury, I'm like, don't love the depth at wide receiver anymore. My biggest concern is, can they get through a season healthy? Is that unfair? Can the wide receivers have enough bodies for the entire year that we don't have to question it? If you gave me any choice in biggest concern, that would currently be it.
Well, they're more banged up as a team than maybe we realized. That's the part that's kind of different.
For sure.
While I will still say the Xavier Worthy injury is honestly still my most concerning because he's this team's
I could see that.
number 2 wide receiver. Cyrus Allen, I want him back on the field, but he's the team's 4th receiver possibly. Worthy's the number 2 wide receiver for this team. Mansour Delane is concerning. I don't have long-term concerns, but he's the starting corner for this football team. Ashton Gelati, the hamstring, how many of these injuries matter by the time we get 5 weeks from now? Some of those other ones clear up. The Xavier Worthy one is the most concerning, not just because of his role, but it's the same shoulder. And so the same shoulder that he had an issue with last week. Or last year, and sorry, we're getting a weird echo, and so just a heads. I don't know if there's a mix minus problem back in the studio. I don't know if you're noticing that as well.
Just the studio I don't sound
weird.
normal in the ear.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, you got it as well. Just making sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's probably from me recording stuff down the line or whatever.
Okay, I was just making sure I wasn't going crazy. That's why. All right.
But we sound normal is what matters to the fans. But he's already having the same shoulder issue. Not great. So that's problem 1. Then you run into Rashee Rice, who we know is recovering from a knee injury, problem 2. And then, it's just, you weren't deep anyway. So we already thought they weren't deep. So unless someone's going to take some big step forward, and I'll be honest, it's not like because he can't practice, how can I watch Xavier Worthy and be like, oh, he looks more polished? Oh, things look different this time around. That's why today, we have Noah Gray on the show. He's coming off a real bad year. And this is an important year for him, which I'm sure he knows. But when you start looking at what comes next for these guys, it's, if the wide receivers are going to step forward, well, then Noah Gray better be better. Someone's got to be better. We think they might run more 2 tight end or more play action or more this stuff, so there very well might be something. Wide receiver still number 1. The corners, they're young, but, I don't panic myself too much. I should probably be more worried about right tackle, knowing that maybe an undrafted free agent rookie who was a late invite to camp might win the job. That should concern me, right?
So actually, it's a question, but I'm actually shouldn't it? I would argue, does it make you feel better that they actually have Jalen Moore, who started games last year, and now they have another player who they think, based off the reps, might have an opportunity to start games for them this year. I don't know if he's going to win the job, Khalil Benson, but he has a real chance to do that now, it appears, based off of the continued first-team reps he's getting. Actually, I think that's I don't know, maybe it's less of a question now. The question of who's starting, fine, but having more options is not a bad thing. They have more options at right tackle right this second than we thought 4 months ago.
Yeah.
That to me is not a negative, but it is definitely a question.
Well, and I guess that's always where we'll have to find this version of it, which is, it is a question, you're right. And I know I could be, it's easy to be positive, wow, him winning the job over Jalen Moore, I mean, he might be really good. Or if you're a pessimist, it's that Jalen Moore's really bad, and this is the only option they have left is just some undrafted dude off the street. It depends on how you're feeling about it, you can swing your version of events any way you want, essentially. But because they've had offensive line issues over the last couple of years, I will say, Patrick Mahomes coming off, I tend to lean more towards he probably is good, Gold. But I'm not going to say that I love the idea that Patrick Mahomes would be protected by an undrafted free agent rookie. Like a day one starter, there'll be a month before I settle into comfort on it, on the idea of it. No matter how talented, there'll be a part of me that will still wonder, are things okay? Is this going to work? Are things fine? Because we still got to make sure that Simmons is as good as we think he can be. The interior offensive line, I don't think there's a lot of questions there. Even with Kingsley, I think he's just kind of settled into at least being a league average guard. So we don't have to worry about it. But, it's not like left tackle is a sure thing. You are very confident. I'm confident.
All right, so we might have lost the guys for a second. We're going to hopefully get that cleared up here in a second. Nine 913-586-7965. J Southland Tow Service text. And the guys are out of camp. We're going to try to get the issue resolved here. Bear with me while we try to do that. On the text line, somebody mentioning that the Chiefs have more options at right tackle than wide receiver. I don't know if that's. Hey, are you guys there?
We're back.
We are back. I don't know when we dropped out. I'm not sure, but we are
What
here.
sentence were we saying when you lost us?
I was trying to recover. I was trying to figure this whole thing out with your guys' headphones too, your headsets. So I'm gonna go back.
Well, we don't know. We'll figure out that. But there's a little bit of an echo.
It sounds a little bit better, but yeah.
But we're back. Sorry that we lost you, Drew. Thanks for letting us know that we were gone.
Yeah.
What did you talk about while we were gone? Was it something interesting? Did you make a profound statement on society or something?
I should have. I was about to jump into one of the top texts while also texting Rob in the process. I was trying to fumbling around for a moment, but we're good now that you guys are back.
Thanks for recovering, Drew.
I
Honestly,
should have said the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl, and then everything would have been fine, I guess,
Do you actually believe that?
I think they can have a very, very good season.
I think they can win their division. I'll give you that.
I think I'll be predicting them to win their division.
Yeah. I think they can win their division.
At the moment, barring, I don't know, some sort of injury that takes place over the next couple
Heaven
weeks
forbid.
Well, I mean, those things do happen. My biggest concern over Cincinnati is the same I point out about this is an evergreen statement and not about your team in particular, Drew. I think people are constantly delusional, and everybody in the NFL always thinks they can take one of the league's worst defenses into being like 11th. And that never happens, really, under any circumstance. And so Cincinnati, Baltimore, these teams that had some of the league's worst defenses, Cowboys, they can go from 29th to 20th, but they're not going from 29th to 12th. And so, they're still going to give up points. And how do you make do with that? Or how do you outscore these teams? Which means you can't make mistakes. And the variance or the leeway or the ability to make mistakes reduces quite a bit. But glad we're back. Didn't even realize we dropped. But we're here at Chiefs camp. Off to a weird start because the rain.
It's a weird day. The
Weird
players went inside for lightning. Fans weren't allowed in until a few minutes ago. But we're here for the next 4 hours. We're up and running. Hopefully we have no more connection issues. Again, Noah Gray is going to join us after practice today. We haven't had a chance really to have a rookie join us yet from camp, but I did want to look at the Defensive Rookie of the Year odds a little bit. And, the obvious one at one point in time would have been somebody like Mansour Delane, but it's very difficult to think that's a realistic scenario right this second because we haven't seen him tackle anybody because he's still in a yellow non-contact jersey. The other part, and I'll pull up the odds here, the other part, Cody, is that
Mendoza's not going to start, so it might be an open year.
But defensive rookie.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Defensive rookie there. Yeah, we can get in the offense too.
We can
do offense as well. But defensive rookie of the year, usually you have to be someone that's getting sacks, or you better have a breakout year of interceptions. And that even if Mansour Delane comes back healthy, he's probably not an interception guy. So his odds are sitting at 10-1 right now to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'll be honest, I don't like that bet at all. And that's not me being down on Delane at all, but he has the 6th best odds. I just don't think
he's getting the 6th overall pick.
Well, for sure. I just don't think he's going to have the interceptions to win it. And I also think now this injury added on it, whereas Ruben Bain's the favorite because, look, he's got a chance to have 7 sacks this year as a rookie or something. Or David Bailey, the 2 defensive ends. The one guy in the secondary that has better odds, Caleb Downs, is 7-1. He feels more like a playmaking type of player on the defensive side, and he's also in Dallas.
Yeah, and I guess that part of it could do it. and are you on a good defensive line? But I wouldn't have guessed James Pierce Jr. last year. This feels like one of those bets that if you're thinking about betting on Mansour Delane, I'd just avoid it. I would. He's not practicing. He might not be available for the regular amount of snaps by week 1. And you do have to get sacks in order to do it. And so, if I were taking a long shot bet, I might bet it on Falk. If I were taking, or maybe Peter Woods, but I don't think
Peter
he'll get
Woods
enough.
is 50 to 1, man.
But we're going to talk about him later in the show. But I don't think he's going to get. He's an interior defensive tackle. Do you know what kind of season you'd have to have? Do you know how much notice you'd have to get in the league to win that award? As an interior defensive lineman, that thing just seems out of there. It's probably going to be Bailey or Arvell Reese.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be the obvious names.
The only way you win Defensive Rookie of the Year is you have the most sacks as a rookie, or you have some of the most interceptions in the entire league, not just as a rookie. That's how you win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nobody is diving deep into, oh, wow, he had this many tackles and was a run stuffer. He's Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not if Reuben Bain or Bailey or anybody has 7 sacks. Or, certainly if any of the rookies had a double-digit sack year as a rookie. That's an automatic win for you, Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's just very difficult to win unless you're getting the sexier stats for Rookie of the Year.
Well, and I guess that always comes back to it. Do we think that he can be? I think you can be a shutdown corner and be Rookie of the Year. But Trent McDuffie wasn't in his year, and he was immediately.
You better hope the defensive linemen in your class all had 2 sacks, 3 sacks. If any of them get 8 sacks, they're winning over you, even if you're a shutdown corner.
Yeah. I mean, look, in reality, it does happen. It happened with, I think, Sauce Gardner won it his year in 2022. So I don't want to rule out the possibility of it. And look, the thing that probably worked against a guy like Trip Duffy came in 2023, right? You know what worked against him? Will Anderson existed. So, you're not going to win it over Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, let's just go back to 2026, it has been 2 corners and either an outside linebacker or a defensive end, except for one time it was an inside linebacker in Schweschinger who won it for the Browns last year. But it was Verse Sachs, Will Anderson, Micah Parsons, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Shaq Leonard. These are outside guys. But 2 corners over the last decade, too.
Yeah, that's why Sonny Styles at 7.5 to 1 is not a bad bet either.
No, on the outside linebacker front, because same thing, Sachs. Outside, rush the passer, stand up. They don't care as much about your tackles, or you can get tackles so you're more noticed on the field outside of there. But again, it's not going to be an inside. It's going to be a corner or a rush guy.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty much the what you need to know about it.
Just for the sake of the conversation, the 3 Chiefs rookies that are eligible that have odds on the board over at FanDuel. So Mansour Delane 10 to 1. You mentioned Peter Woods 50 to 1. R. Mason Thomas 75 to 1.
I'd rather bet R. Mason than Peter Woods. And I'm high on Peter Woods.
It's just an edge guy.
It's the positional stuff.
Yeah.
If he ended up being the James Pierce Jr. and he had 8.5 sacks, he probably, James Pierce didn't win it last year, but he might. He might win it with that number, right? That might be, especially if you're on the Chiefs. Now, it was a Cleveland Brown who won it last year, so maybe you don't have to be a name on the outside of it. But, I mean, I at least got to put in the chance. The Chiefs have no one for Offensive Rookie of the Year. They didn't draft an offensive player until,
Cyrus Allen, 80 to 1, baby.
80 to 1?
Yeah,
he's on the board?
Well, yeah, he's on the board. He was a drafted player. He was a drafted rookie.
Puka Nacua won in his rookie year?
Yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Jeremiah Love is the favorite. No surprise, guys. They're going to run him like crazy in Arizona.
Into the ground, yeah.
Fernando Mendoza, we don't know when he's going to play, but he's a quarterback, so he could even miss the first 2 months, of the season. And when Carnell Tate in Tennessee, next best odds 6.5 to 1. Jadarian Price up in Seattle, who they're talking up pretty big there with the Seahawks. Jordan Tyson 8.5 to 1. Mekhi Lemon with Philly at 12 to 1. Carson Beck, who will get the start tomorrow night in the Hall of Fame game, is 25 to 1.
Oh, that's
KC Concepcion of Cleveland, although he's got a little injury right now, I think he's 30 to 1. So that's the top of the board. But yeah, Cyrus Allen is on the board. Cody at 80 to 1. He has worse odds than Emmett Johnson, who's 75 to 1. I would rather bet on Cyrus Allen winning Rookie of the Year than Emmett Johnson. How does Cyrus Allen have worse odds than Emmett Johnson?
I'm guessing it's just a competition thing.
Because Kenneth Walker would have to get hurt.
Yeah, but it's running back, so maybe they're just thinking if somebody got hurt. Cyrus Allen, he could win it and not get hurt. He could just be the goods, right? The way everybody's talking about him, and maybe that would change the math on it. It's been, and we talked about this during the Creed is Good campaign. It is only ever a quarterback, wide receiver, or running back. There is no point in thinking, here comes my elite left tackle. He'll win it this year. that Creed Humphrey getting 2 votes in his year for Rookie of the Year is a border. He might as well have won it.
Right.
That's a borderline miracle, an offensive lineman getting 2 votes. But I would think that.
Yeah, where's Khalil Benson's odds? He hasn't even won the job
Get
yet.
out of here.
Where's his odds, Cody?
Well, we'll make a stink about it again because it's rigged. Nobody.
Jeff Caldwell's 175 to 1. Your guy that hasn't done anything.
175 to 1. No, I'm not.
Jaden Ott.
The fact that he's on the
Jaden
list,
Ott
though.
is
Jaden Ott's on the list, too.
175 to
Who
1.
are these players even making the list?
Well,
Who's throwing their money away?
Garrett Nussmeier, 200 to 1.
How many players are getting hurt?
I mean,
Patrick Mahomes and
if you-
Justin Fields
if-
crash
if-
into each other in a practice?
If you truly are a fan of throwing
Sicko
away,
behavior.
well, no, if you're just a fan of throwing away money, you just like giving away
I'll take your
money, then you can bet on Garrett Nussmeier to win Rookie of the Year and just throw away your money.
Yeah.
Honestly, just
At the book of Cody Tapp, I'll take your bet.
Yep.
I'll actually give you better odds than they're giving you.
Cody's
I'll give you a 400 to 1.
instead of 200 to 1. Cody will promise you just what max bet $1,000, but he'll give you 200 to 1,
I'll
300
give
to
you
1.
500 to 1. I don't care. Just tell me the odds you need. I'll put it up. I'll put in my house as a lien as collateral.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Cody
so
literally,
not worried about
Cody
it.
will literally give you his house if Garrett Nussmeier wins.
But you
Rookie
give me
of the Year.
$1,000
Yeah,
if
right
you-
now. Yeah, right now Cody gets the 1,000. But if Nussmeier wins, Cody has to give you his house. I think that's a fair deal.
And I'll take the 1,000 on the thing we were talking about earlier on the long odds bet. And if you give me the 1,000, I'll take it to the casino and I'll bet it on red or black 7 times in a row.
Jeez.
I won't even use it for good. I'll throw it away.
Unbelievable.
For the same odds that we were just talking about. Please do not waste your money.
Jaden Ott probably not making the team, and maybe he's a practice squad guy. I mean, and he's on here at 175 to 1 as well.
Oh man, so funny. Just really funny. But yeah, that's at least a portion of it. Don't do that. Don't make that bet. We are at camp. We mentioned that we had a little bit of rain earlier that had them go inside, and
great
then we came
outside.
back outside. It does feel very nice. It's the nicest day at camp so far from a temperature perspective, at least certainly since the rain has passed. But if we do have weather, we might as well hear from Cloudy. Does that seem fair? Let's hear from Cloudy with a chance.
All right, let us know when we have our weather report from Cloudy with the Chance.
Everything's broken.
Everything's
heads are falling
It's a
off.
hell of a start to the show today. It really is. It's a great start. Maybe Cloudy got confused with the weather that happened up here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could
I
be.
can tell Cloudy it did rain. Maybe that helps with the forecast.
Does that help him?
It did, in fact.
You don't have to
rain.
tell me it will rain. It definitely did. Mm-hmm. As fans continue to come in, by the way, if you were up driving back or forth, they did let fans eventually back in as they brought the team back out. Kind of a longer practice today, so they gave them all a chance to try to make sure that things are.
While we're waiting for Cloudy, there's a text that I think the person's trolling, but I'll go ahead and give you your attention if that's what you wanted.
Sure.
From the 515, where's that at? You can look that up. Can we talk about when we're trading the fragile Xavier Worthy and who we should pick up for him? What are we talking about?
I'm not going to trade him. Central Iowa.
What are we talking about? When we should trade Xavier Worthy? What are we doing?
All I need to
Xavier
hear is
Worthy,
that
I'm
text. Are you guys ready to hear Cloudy? Because I've got it ready.
Yeah, we don't need. Okay, I don't even need to get into the.
We've
text
given
more.
it enough time.
Yep. All
already
right, Drew,
somehow.
go ahead.
With their training camp forecast.
I'll tell you what.
All right, man.
Nothing
What is
plays.
going on? What's
Have you
going on
contacted
back in the
engineering?
studio? What's
this
going
is
on
like the
back there?
7th time. Not you, Drew. JT was out last week. This is like the 7th time since every day we've been at camp. We tried the first clip we try to play doesn't play.
What's going on?
I think we got to ask
I mean,
engineering.
honestly,
what the hell's going on?
What
with
the
computer?
heck is going on
Things
back in
broken.
KC? What are you guys doing there? What happened with all the computers?
You want to try one more time, Drew?
No, I don't think we should.
You've given up?
Yeah, we got to. This is terrible. This is terrible.
I think we're good. Let's
all
try one
right,
more
let's
time.
try it
Oh
again.
God, I don't know.
With their training camp forecast, I'm meteorologist Cloudy with a chance, and showers likely today for St. Joe with a high of 79. So stay dry out there, guys. If only Cody would just mortgage his family's future for that Argentina communications trailer, he could be doing the show from inside that right now. Way to not be a team player, Cody. I'm meteorologist Cloudy with a chance for Cody and Gold on 96.5 The.
Oh my gosh.
What is? I mean, honestly, what?
They're gonna cut off right at the end. Is the best.
96.5 The Fan. Thank you for listening,
man.
guys. Cody, I
Who's
Cloudy-
sabotaging the show today?
It's not me. It's not me. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off back here. You guys are losing connection. Cloudy won't play. I think Cloudy does have a good point, though, Cody. If you would have actually mortgaged everything and
I'd have been
got
sick up here.
got the studio, you could have got a trailer and brought it up there to Chiefs camp. You guys
But
wouldn't even have
having to
leave.
move it, but I can't move it twice. Like, if I'm getting messy taps, if I buy it, which is still for sale, if you don't think I continue to buy
that trailer is not one you're just hauling to different places.
No,
it's still a fairly permanent trailer.
It would be a permanent fixture at my home. Messy taps would not come up to training camp. Maybe we could host a show from there. Kling said if I purchased it, we could do a Fan Club Friday from there.
Oh, yeah.
Messy taps, we could do a Fan Club Friday from out there. I think that'd be nice, Drew.
It almost would have to be. I'm not saying it would be the permanent spot, but I don't know. I feel like that might be the spot.
Now somebody's guessing if I'm cloudy with a chance. I am not. Nobody
on this show.
Not a single person on the text line, as many guesses as there have been, have ever successfully guessed who Cloudy actually is. So for as many of you as have tried, I would say that that's not the case. Let's hope that we have better luck with the audio later in the show, Drew. I don't blame you. I'm assuming it's just crashing.
Well, you heard it. It wouldn't play at first, and then it played 2 seconds, and then I think we had it.
Stop looking up Joe Burrow highlights and make sure the audio's working, man.
What virus did you who infected what computer with what virus, and what were they looking up at work? On work time? You save that for the privacy of your own home.
JT was filling in for the morning show for Mac. I think Mac's back tomorrow, but JT was filling in, so I don't know what JT.
And the same thing happened last week with JT. What are you searching, JT?
I don't know. JT's looking up shoe videos. And
what's on the browser history?
Feet. I'm not sure, man. Freezing up the computers.
I saw he sent something to you guys last night about.
He did.
I don't even know what it was. I just saw that he sent you something about.
I'm nervous anytime JT sends me a link now. I'll be honest. I don't know what I'm about to get.
Like somebody wears like socks in the pool or something like that, and it's like, this is worse than my behavior. And then Cody, you would respond to that.
I said it's worse than like shoes designed for the pool, but it's not worse than the rest of the depravity. Like, it's not, like it's not everything else we discussed.
I was cool with it. I was understanding until he mentioned the deal with the bedroom, and at that point, that was where you crossed the line.
Right.
That's where you crossed the line.
Our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. All right, let's get a smooth half hour coming up here. And how about a next 3.5 hours? Let's talk a little Royals baseball, including 2 more players needing Tommy John surgery. What does that tell us about the future for the Kansas City Royals? And we'll discuss one of the standout players so far here at training camp, and it's on the defensive side of the ball.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
The Advent Health Championship is Casey's only PGA Tour event. Whether you're a golfer or you just want to be part of the fun, family-friendly event, see the future stars of the PGA Tour at Blue Hills Country Club, August 20th through 23rd. Ticket information at adventhealthchampionship.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane, third-generation owner at Shane Company. As a family jeweler for almost 100 years, we're known for doing right by our customers. Our legacy of integrity depends on it. We stand behind our engagement rings with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds, then negotiate for the best price. At Shane Company, we put you first because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
In Kansas City, some traditions never go out of style. Since 1919, Dixon's Famous Chili has been serving its legendary recipe to generations of loyal customers, including President Harry S. Truman, who called Dixon's his favorite. More than 100 years later, they're still serving the same great taste with the same commitment to quality. Stop in for their famous build-your-own chili. All-you-can-eat tacos every day, or let Dixon's cater your next event. Whether it's your first visit or your 100th, you'll taste a true Kansas City tradition. Dixon's Famous Chili, proudly serving Kansas City since 1919.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Peter's Clothiers. The last 3 days of our summer sale are here. Save from 30 to 50% on suits, sports coats, and sportswear at Peter's Clothiers. Find the look you want at the price you'll love. Visit Peter's Clothiers at 124th and State Line. Sale ends soon.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here at Chiefs training camp. Sun is out, full padded practice again. Should be the longest practice that we've had to this point in time in St. Joe for camp. Could go to 11:15, 11:30 today. When that's done, we will hear from Andy Reid. Also going to hear from Noah Gray right here on 96.5 The Fan. Our training camp coverage is presented by Yuengling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Let's pivot briefly away from the Chiefs. Then we're going to talk about one player that continues to stand out here on the defensive side of the ball. We had the discussion yesterday about why the Royals decided to retain Waka and Lugo, and J.J. Piccolo joined us on the show. Then, 3-4 hours later, Matt Quatrero announced that Lewinder Avila and Stephen Kolek are out with Tommy John surgery. So add them to the long list of pitchers that you were thinking would be in your rotation next year that now are not available, and
Correct.
Maybe till the back half of the season. And even then what are you really getting out of them? Other than the obvious, which is what we asked JJ about, and that is, hey, what's up with the rash of injuries? Are you guys Are you rethinking? Are you diving deeper into how you guys are teaching pitching? What is that? Is that possibly?
And he was just like 2 years ago we had no Tommy Johns, and this year we have 1 million.
But it sure seems like now if you go and step back and look at the rotation, if they would have traded Waka and or Lugo, they would have had to go out and find 4, but maybe 5 different pitchers. And maybe they realized and said, we can't go and fill 5 spots in a rotation in one offseason. I think that had to have got into their thinking as well when they did not trade Waka and Lugo, now that we know what we know.
I think if you look back on it, that stuff would have been borderline impossible. Look, you and I are pretty good here, Alex. We're not here to just make excuses for the Royals organization. They don't need that from us. They're having a massively disappointing year, all that other stuff. But if you had any dream of competing, it wasn't going to work with those 2 guys gone if you also, in the back of your mind, knew that Lewinder Avila and Stephen Kolek, added Bergert's season-ending injury, Reagan's season-ending injury, everybody, the whole damn team. Kuderna, I don't care if you just want to go further down the list of guys who might have been available to you. He had Tommy John or whatever. So, like, the entire system all at once are going to have this surgery. Yeah, Gold, I bet it would be difficult to sit in a meeting and be like, who the hell's going to pitch for this team next year? Randy Dobnak or two? And Dobnak, I mean, look, I'm glad he had a nice start again last night. He's been a weird story, but kudos to him, man. I mean, the guy might very well have earned himself a chance to be talked about next year as a potential fifth starter for this team. It seems insane, but also it seems realistic at this point that he's been talked into this conversation. And so that part of it, I can't ignore and probably had a major factor. Don't you think? I mean, it almost had to have had a major factor, and they're talking about this. They should have used that almost as an excuse. Who would you like us to start? Unless you want us to go out and spend $500 billion on Tarek Skubal, who's not coming here.
The only thing, though, and yes, filling out a rotation of finding 5 new players is difficult. But isn't all this also still, couldn't you say, more reason why next year, as much as you want to badly compete, it just may not really be possible, Cody, in 2027. So, yeah, trading Waka and or Lugo would have made your rotation a big question mark, even more than it already is going to be, and you would have financially had to spend a lot of money to either go acquire guys or you would have had to make trades just to fill out your rotation. But Waka and Lugo being your 1 and 2 maybe in your rotation next year, that's not a playoff rotation. You can say it was in 2024. Yeah, it's just going to be 2027. That was 3 years ago by the time we're talking about next year. Is that your rotation? Are those guys leading a rotation that's a playoff team, that's a AL Central champion team in 2027, that Michael Waka and Lugo are your 1 and 2 starters? Because that's what they're going to be, barring a surprise trade in the offseason that brings in an ace.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, it would take either, and like Blake Mitchell's white hot, right? Maybe he's still a name. He has like a 1,200 OPS in the last 6 weeks in the minor leagues. He's not striking out nearly as much. So maybe he's turning on, right? Or I'll tell you this much: there's at least a team that would talk themselves into. Do you see some of the catchers who got traded for? There's a team right now who thinks Blake Mitchell can start for them in a year and a half. And so if you're making a move, it's going to have to be for one of those, because it's that or saying, hey, John, you're going to have to open up the checkbook in a way you've never opened it up before. Because I'll just tell you, they can't bid a number high enough to get a guy like Skubal. That's not the checkbook we're talking about. What we're saying is the same thing they did with Lugo, where they overpaid the market price for guys like Walker and Lugo when they first brought him in. Gold, Lugo, when we saw that contract, we're like, oh, so you guys were the highest bidder by a pretty wide margin. He's going to do that again, but 4 times over. Now, look, could they have still gotten away with 1, and maybe we're saying, hey, instead of finding 2 guys, you got to find 3? Maybe. But I could see why, if they think every single one of their pitchers is coming off Tommy John surgery and may or may not be available at any point next season. Truth is, August 5th, Luinder Avila is not a part of the 2027 Royals. If he is, it'd be like, oh, they made the postseason, and here he is out of the bullpen, maybe. And so, Kolek's not a part of the 2027 Royals.
Yeah, him and Kolek will probably not pitch again until 2028 for the Royals.
Cole Reagans might be available in July, but these other guys, I mean, they're not coming around. Maybe Kudrna could be available in July if he gets through AA and then AAA and recovers from the injury. Maybe Bergert, right? But not Kolek, not Avila.
I'll be honest. This is the not realistic scenario, but let me just play this out for a second. If Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't the player that you don't want to waste, the next 3 years of, you could argue that not having baseball next year would not be the worst thing for the Royals long term.
From a pitching staff, if you
have to eliminate the Bobby Witt Jr. You have to eliminate the Bobby Witt Jr. part
because he's 1 year closer to free agency.
And that's why that was the caveat. Yeah. Otherwise, there's an argument that you're better off because if
every other player's under control, so sure.
Yeah.
But then you lose a year, Carter, I guess.
And you would have traded Waka and Lugo in that scenario too.
Yeah, you would. But also, you wouldn't have.
I know
had they known for sure. If John Sherman had said, "Look, I'm telling you right now, JJ, there is a 100% chance there is no season next year. I'm just telling you flat out, it ain't gonna happen. Trade him." Then now we're talking. Get all your guys back from Tommy John. Lose the season that you're gonna lose, and move on with your life. But
I understand.
It's a difficult. Yeah. It's you can create scenarios in which there are parts of it, or at the very least, maybe it's good for them if they lose some games. Because then you lose less games with Reagans or less games with Bergert or these guys. Because that's the truth, Gold, is that their rotation could be Reagans, Bergert, and the other 3 guys.
Someone on the text line says, why is it such a crazy idea to expect the billionaire owner to spend money?
It's not.
It's not. Now, I will tell you once again, that has not been the problem, though, of this year or the last year. I will always say it's not my money. Yeah, I would love for the owner to spend more money, always. But This is not they're 28th in payroll. Why aren't they were, I think, 19th at one point. I haven't looked at the updated number to see where their payroll's sitting currently after the trade deadline, Cody. But they were 19th. That was not the issue. Now, to fix the problems and the poor decisions and results that have occurred, I think they need to have John Sherman spend more money this offseason. I'll agree with you there. But if you're just saying, like, hey, the owner needs to have spent more money, that's why they're here, I disagree with that. That to me is not why they're in the spot they're in. But to get out of it, yes, he probably will need to spend more money.
I think that's what sucks.
I think that's where they're at.
They spent this year. They really did. Maybe not every cent, but they spent. They were like a league average payroll, man, and they're one of the smallest markets in all of baseball. So they didn't just ignore it. They certainly tried at least to win. And so, like, that part of it is just, whether or not we think
the updated number. This is just a quick from Fangraphs. The Royals are 18th in payroll this year, so that's not why they're where they're at. But I will always say, it's not my money. Of course, I would love for the Royals to spend more money, but I just don't think that's the story of what's happened here.
I do think that, like, we pretend. I've said this before. Somebody, if you want, John Sherman could be the Padres owner, and he could just have the 4th highest payroll in baseball. He could just do that. But I also think you have to understand the economics of baseball don't support that in the long run in any capacity. So, like, even if he did do that, that
what should frustrate you is
it didn't solve the Mets' problem either. The development is my concern.
What should frustrate you is Cleveland finds a way to do it. They're 29th in payroll. What should frustrate you is the White Sox have leapfrogged you. They're 27th in payroll, and they're in Chicago. That's a whole other. They should be spending more than they are, but they're 27th in payroll. The Twins are 22nd in payroll, and they're having a better season than you are. You're 18th in payroll, and you are where you are, which is one of the worst teams in baseball.
Let's get back to the Chiefs for just a little bit. We're out here at training camp. Noah Gray just caught a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Turned around. It was a dart, by the way, from Patrick Mahomes on the touchdown catch. So he'll join us coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. But I'll be honest, it is now 5 players at the podium and interview sessions. It is the defensive coordinator. It is Kairos Tonga. It is Kingsley Suamate-Io with us. I don't think we can go any longer without having an individual, standalone conversation about Peter Woods, who at this point has been the standout rookie player for the Chiefs at training camp, and I would argue by a pretty wide margin. Now, look, not helped by the fact that Mansour Delane has been non-contact this entire time, but Peter Woods might be the goods, and I cannot emphasize enough how important that is, knowing at what stage of the career we are at Chris Jones. If they find another interior defensive lineman who is a force, well, it solves all of their interior problems down the road. Maybe it doesn't solve their edge issues or the things that they will also need. But if you're telling me that there might be a cheap, not cost you $60 million a year option in Chris Jones available on the defensive line, it means something for the short and the long term. It makes Chris Jones' job easier this year. It makes George Karlaftis' job easier this year. No one won from the interior. And if you have more than one guy who can win from the interior, that's it. And I'll say, in watching him, he looks like a force. Right now, in light pads or in pads the last 2 days, Peter Woods pushes some people around.
It's awfully impressive. His size, his strength, but also how quick he moves, right? To have the agility. He does remind you of Chris Jones in that way a little bit. Strength level is about the same. I mean, we had Kingsley on, and he said that Chris Jones, Peter Woods, strength-wise, he thinks they're even.
At the risk of a clipping off, I do think we have at least Tonga on what Peter Woods has to offer. Let's hear what Tonga said about him.
He's a little pit bull, man. He nasty. He got something to him, and he got a chip on his shoulder. Eager to learn. Just a sponge, man. Just taking everything in and just learning and growing. And it's cool to see that, and really all the rookies too. We got a good group of rookies coming in.
And so far, in the very early going, what's promising is he looks like the guy that about a year ago some people had as a top 5 pick in the draft. That was a real thing. Remember when we went back and looked at the mock drafts before the college football season? He did not have a good final year at Clemson. A bunch of those guys on the defensive line in defense for Clemson did not have a good year for, coaching, whatever you want. It was a bizarre year for Dabo and Clemson. Peter Woods was a different player than he was the year prior. What we're seeing so far at camp, at least, is the player and the reason why people were that excited about him and thought he was once going to be a top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He, of course, slid to the late portion of the first round because it was not a great year last year for him. But we're seeing everything that you want to see from someone
that would have been a top 15 pick maybe had his season gone well at Clemson, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been one of the biggest bright spots, no doubt. You mentioned the long-term aspect of it. That would be huge for them, knowing that the cap hit for Chris Jones next year will once again be massive. There's still a huge dead cap number, and so it'd be a difficult decision. But if Peter Woods went out there and looked like he's ready for that next level to take on that role in year two, because we're waiting, we got to get through this year, but in year two, then yeah, maybe that decision gets easier. For this year, though, imagine what it does for Chris Jones and for Karlaftis and for everybody else. You have somebody that can disrupt the play from the interior. And all of a sudden, your job, if you're Karlaftis, if you're R. Mason Thomas or whoever's on the outside, gets a heck of a lot easier.
Well, especially because they'll have two. Go ahead, Drew.
Well, I was going to say, I still feel like this is the reason Cody and I feel that he should play more than Kyrus Tonga, because as good as Tonga might be at clogging the middle and everything like that, when you can have a difference maker like Peter Woods, like to your point, Gold, it makes things so much easier for Chris Jones. It helps out George Karlaftis, I think, where not that Kyrus Tonga can't elevate, but I think Peter Woods being the type of player that he could be potential-wise, that makes that defense of line it makes them scary a little bit, where to me, and I think, Cody, you're in the same boat as this, I think Peter Woods should be playing 60% over the course of the season when we look back at it. Peter Woods should play more on the defensive line wherever he wants to be at it, essentially, but he should be getting more snaps than Kyrus Tonga because of the talent that we're seeing showcased a little bit, and obviously with the guys talking the way that he's been performing so far.
I know they've done it in desperation before, so I think that this is slightly different. In desperation once, they moved Chris Jones on some outside pass rush snaps because they didn't have anybody. They didn't have anybody who can get to the quarterback. But if you're telling me on 3rd and 10 that it's not out of desperation, Gold, but instead it's out of an ability to put Peter Woods on the inside to cause a problem, Chris Jones on the outside to cause a problem, outside of George Karlaftis, it's different when you're doing it from a position of strength than a position of weakness. And if you actually have a guy in the interior who can rush the passer or at least cause problems for the passer, I know he's not trying to get sacks or whatever, well, then we're having a different conversation. And so, I think Peter Woods is going to end up having a major impact on this team. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine he won't based on the way the season started so far, assuming he can stay healthy.
Yeah, if you're just wondering percentage of the snaps, we know that defensive line was not good last year, and multiple pieces are not back. But at least as far as defensive tackles, Chris Jones got 73% of the snaps. Derek Nottie, who's not on the team, but he had 29% of the snaps. He was terrible last year for the team. And then you got to just really break it up between a bunch of different guys. I mean, Norman Lott, who got hurt, he was playing like 7%. Zach Pickens, you probably don't even remember that name.
What?
He played 5.6% of the snaps.
I don't remember him taking a single snap. I don't even remember that player, Zach Pickens. I covered this team all year.
Tua Pelotu or whatever. He was
I remember him. He just signed with somebody else.
1.6% of the snaps. Point is, it was basically Chris Jones and then Derek Nottie, just because they had to, was getting 30% of the snaps out there.
And a lot of other guys who stunk. And the guys who played a lot of the snaps.
Minihue got 54, and I know he's more of an outside guy, but Minihue was getting 54% of the snaps a year ago.
They had nothing, and that's the other part of this. What does that mean for Omar Norman Lott, who they had to put weight on? Maybe that means he can play on the outside when he comes back. Oh, now we have a couple of rotational guys, R. Mason Thomas, Omar Norman Lott, because we have the interior guys in Tonga and Peter Woods. It actually looks like a qualified defensive line. There is an outside chance. I don't want to make it seem like I'm 100% on board with it yet, Gold, but there's an outside chance that the Chiefs have one of the 10 best defensive lines in football. Now, it relies on the development of Omar Norman Lott, R. Mason Thomas being good, and Peter Woods being good. But if Peter Woods, well, then they can get away with it. Because George Karlaftis is a perfectly fine secondary pass rusher to Chris Jones. So, there's an outside chance they've got, the 9th or 10th best defensive line. Because, Drew, I think you and I or maybe the three of us have all talked about it on the show before, which is anytime we see the Chiefs' offensive line ranked, we're like, I don't think you guys realize how bad offensive line play is in the NFL. Because when you got the Chiefs ranked at 23rd, I don't think you realize, to the same effect, I don't think people realize how many not very good defensive lines there are in the league and how little work it should take for a team to jump up into that category. Not one of the 5 best. We know what those teams have and are rolling out. But outside or just inside the top 10, 11, 12, that should be more than doable. The Chiefs have finished in that number with sacks a number of times in this run defensively. And they were a top 5 defense last year scoring-wise. If they actually have a pass rush, I mean, they might be able to win games 20-17 again if the offense stinks. I actually don't want that. That's how they won the
Last year was so weird defensively, though. I mean,
I know.
In terms
I didn't
of,
love them, but they.
Well, no, I just mean you're right. And points per game is usually all we care about.
Yeah.
But last year was the unique one where that was almost misleading because the defense was not even on the field that much towards the end of the year, just because of where the offense was at. And so
they blew it in the worst moments.
And if you go and you look at like the EPA per play stuff, they were like 18th in the NFL. And then you're right. We heard the stat from Jaden Hicks yesterday. On third downs, that was a big problem for this football team. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say it did feel like we were used to over the last, besides last year, the last like 2 or 3 years of them always making the play when they needed to. And last year it felt like they couldn't for whatever reason, whether like you're saying, Gold, it was third down or even in the red zone or whatever the case is, when they needed to get off the field, they weren't capable of doing what they had done previously, where you felt like they were reliable to an extent. More reliable.
Yeah, I can't wait to see, what this front that includes Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas looks like, even in a preseason game. Like, yes, week 1 against the Broncos, but even in a preseason game, because you're going to see plenty of playing time from Woods and R. Mason Thomas, because they don't really need to have Chris Jones do much in preseason. They don't really need to have George Karlaftis do much, if play at all, in preseason. But Peter Woods, my guess right now, I know we do Camp Darling Island and everything. We added, and nobody actually had Peter Woods. That's another name. That's funny.
He's a first-round pick. We said Peter Woods can be on the island. He's a first-round pick.
That's true. But take Camp Darling Island out of it. Peter Woods might be the player that after the first preseason game we're all talking about.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a good chance because he's going to play. Andy loves guys to play in the preseason. And Peter Woods is a rookie, so he'll be out there even more. But I will say sometimes the telling sign of how important they think they are is how little they play in preseason game number 1. Peter Woods gets a series, and then he comes out. It's like, ooh, they've seen enough.
That's fair.
R. Mason gets 2 series. They're like, well, we'd like to see a little bit more. Like, they sometimes can tell the story. That was a weird-looking throw from Mahomes. He, stopped it mid-throw. It didn't even look like a check throw because it just, stopped and then glitched almost. And then he ripped it to the back of the
grip
end zone.
or something?
I don't know. Just kind of looked funny, that's all. As we're out here at training camp again, Noah Gray scheduled to join us after practice. They're not done with practice yet. They came back outside after a rainy start, but then we were able to kind of get things back going together. You had mentioned the preseason. Did you see Mike McCarthy the other day say that he'd like Aaron Rodgers to play in the preseason? Good luck with that conversation, by the way. I'm sure that one's going to go real smooth. Does Aaron Rodgers need to play in a preseason game?
Well, he's
45 years old. He's 41 or 2.
Brand new coaching staff. I understand the familiarity, but it's a brand new coaching staff. You got new wide receivers there. I don't think it's a bad idea to have him play at least a little bit.
Is McCarthy the only one who could convince him to do it too? Like, I don't think any.
Probably.
Like if they would have brought in, I don't know, Shieldhouse or something like that. There's no way he's playing in a preseason game with Shieldhouse.
I gotta say though, what kind of teammate are you if your coach says they want you to play Drew and you won't do it?
Do we know he said no
already?
already?
No, I was saying if he's saying Shieldhouse wouldn't have the weight. I was like, but if you're Shieldhouse, you should be able to walk in there too and say, I want you to play in the preseason. It means something to me. What, are you going to turn the coach down? You can't turn the coach down, right? Rodgers going to play in the preseason.
I don't know.
Right?
It just feels like there's something with this with the dynamic where I think I've told you guys. I feel like the Steelers are going to have a winning record this year just because I don't know, the dynamic with him and McCarthy being back together. Like there's some rapport where Mike McCarthy's saying, "Hey man, I think you should be playing in the preseason just a little bit." I think that conversation goes better than it would if it were a first-year head coach.
I guess the part of it is just I think they're going to be. I'm the only person. I think they're going to be bad. I
think they're at least a 9-win team.
I think we've completely undervalued Mike Tomlin's ability to drag not great. I don't think the Steelers have a great roster. I think they have a couple of players, and the roster as a whole is problematic. And so, that part of it just makes me think, the roster's not good enough. And McCarthy's not going to just roll in and get him to 500 again like Mike Tomlin's been able to do for the better part of last 2 or 3 years. That team has no business getting to 500. I also think it's asking a lot for 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who I do not think is this tireless off-season train-my-body worker that Tom Brady was to stay healthy at 41 years old. 42 years old.
Hey, he got back.
Some guys can do that.
He got back with his family again. He seems to be in good spirit. There's something weird. I don't know how. I can't explain it. It just feels weird. It's a weird feeling that makes me think that they're going to be good again. At least serviceable.
Their win total is over under 8.5. I like the over on the Steelers this year.
So
I think they're at least a 9-win team. Something tells me they're a 10-win wild card team that can, will still be able to beat anybody during the season, and you don't want to play them because it's not the same Mike Tomlin, but in a weird way, that's a good thing at this point in time because offensively it just was way too stale in Pittsburgh for years, way too stale. And now
I guess I don't think
Mike
McCarthy is like an innovator.
That's what he's been throughout his entire NFL career.
I mean, he definitely was early in his career. I didn't think he did anything like drastically.
He had 3 12-win seasons in Dallas.
He did.
He won. We obviously know what he did in Green Bay as well. Like Mike McCarthy, I would not have hired him because to me it's just kind of status quo. Like the floor is very high to me with Mike McCarthy. I just think the ceiling is low. So I don't expect the Steelers to go and win 13 games or win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy and Rodgers. Absolutely not. But I think the floor, though, like Mike McCarthy's not bottoming out and winning 6 games in Pittsburgh this year.
I think it's like 7. 6 sounds like
last year in Dallas they won 7 games.
I think it's 7 or 8.
But
I don't think they're a laughing stock. I don't think they're picking top 10 in the NFL draft. But I don't think they're making the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to compete for one. Based on strength of schedule for win totals, they are 17th hardest in the league. So in their division, the Bengals have the second easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL, based on Vegas win totals from last year. The Ravens have the fifth easiest strength of schedule. The Browns have the 6th easiest strength of schedule. They've got the hardest in the whole division.
The Steelers started the season. They open up at home against Atlanta. I'll call it a coin flip game.
I think that's fair.
I would.
We don't know who's going to start for them right now.
I would probably pick Pittsburgh.
I'd lean Steelers,
but it's a coin flip game. I haven't looked at the line. It might be 1.5 or something. At New England.
I would call that a loss.
Home to Cincy.
I think that's.
But they can win that game.
They always beat Cincy, so that's tough. Coin flip.
At Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Indy at home. At Tampa. I don't like Tampa at all this year. I think they're going to be terrible. At New Orleans. Coin flip game.
Easy part of the schedule. First part of the schedule.
Home to Cleveland, then a bye. Now they like that. That's a doable start for them.
It's a winnable start.
And then out of the bye, they go at Cincy, at Philly, home to Denver, home to Houston, at Jacksonville, home to Baltimore.
I mean, what? They better get off to a good start.
And then
they are only going to win 7 games.
And then they wrap up with Carolina at home, at Tennessee, at Baltimore.
Better not start 5-3.
No, they need a good start.
Better not start 5-4.
Yeah, schedule.
They
better not go slow.
But Rodgers will be fresh and healthy the first month and a half, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I guess that part of it always changes. I'm not high on them this year. I'm not high on the Bucs either, I guess.
Oh, the Bucs I'm out on. The Baker Mayfield stuff's
you
a
don't
mess.
trust Todd Bowles either.
Vita Vea, my opinion on Todd Bowles.
I do think the contract year.
Vita Vea, once out. Bucky Irving is back, but he's coming off a shoulder injury. Mike Evans is not there anymore. I think Tampa is a 6 or 7 win football team. They also only won 7 or 8 last year.
8. I think everybody in the NFC South won 8, didn't they?
Yeah,
it was 8-9, 8-9, 8-9, and then the Saints won 6 games.
Carolina had the tiebreaker, I think.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks Baker declining that contract's crazy because of the years? He's offered $50 million a year.
Someone will pay him. Someone will pay him next year. Even if he has a down year, someone will still pay him. There's desperate teams every year, even with a good quarterback here.
He needs to stay healthy this year, though. He
That's
got
probably
banged
fair.
up last
He's got to get
year.
through 17 games, but if he gets through 17 games, he'll put up enough stats to be passable. And they still have some wide receivers to throw to.
Yeah, we'll do our divisional previews and obviously make our divisional picks much closer to the season. It sounds like none of us are going to be picking the Bucs to win the NFC South based on the conversation we just had. Our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Up next, we get to the 11 o'clock hour. At some point in the next 20 to 30 minutes, we should hear from Noah Gray and Andy Reid, but it is a longer practice today, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's get into also something that occurred on the college front that has all sorts of chaos right now due to a recent ruling. We'll also work in a little trash of the day next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Man, I should not have tried to handle this car wreck stuff myself.
Why?
Insurance keeps calling. I gotta find a body shop, rental car, doctor's appointments. Now they're asking for a bunch of other things.
Dude, why are you trying to do this yourself?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
That's literally what they do. You worry about getting better. They deal with the insurance, the paperwork, the calls, all of it.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Kansas City is buzzing this summer, and the excitement keeps rolling into August at the Advent Health Championship, Kansas City's only professional golf tournament, August 20th through 23rd at Blue Hills Country Club. Watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars compete for their shot at the big stage. Follow your favorite player, enjoy the action from greenside, or upgrade to an all-inclusive hospitality experience. With tickets starting at just $10, there's something for everyone. Keep your summer going. Get your tickets today at AdventHealthChampionship.com.
Kansas City football fans, Dane and Hughes here. Countdown to kickoff is officially on, so now is the time to stock the cooler with Yingling Flight. Whether you're headed to training camp, firing up the grill, or getting together with family and friends on game day, Yingling Flight is the perfect way to enjoy the football season. At just 95 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs, it's everything you want in a light beer. Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
Drew McIntyre here from WWE. Wielding the Claymore can be a life of chaos. When I'm not dominating in the ring, Chumba Casino is how this warrior takes a wee break. With hundreds of online social games and new weekly releases, there's always something fresh to try. And those daily boosts, next level. Even my free time feels like Valhalla. So when life feels like a battle, kick up your feet, have some fun, and let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Today we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Jeremy.
I've been a RockAuto.com customer for over 15 years, and now even my kids order their parts there. Prices are always far lower than the local auto parts store. Selection is massive, and the site makes it unbelievably easy to find exactly what we need. Every order shows up fast, and the quality is always top tier. RockAuto.com has earned my trust for life, and I highly recommend them.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery.
Hey, it's Carter Jensen, and this is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you from St. Joe. Longest practice of the year. Could go another 15 to 30 minutes. And when practice wraps up, we'll hear from Andy Reid and also Noah Gray. Plus, at the Noah Gray's going to stop by the tent, but at the podium, we're expected to hear from Amari DiMercato as well as Harrison Butker. And we've talked about Butker earlier in the offseason. It's a big year for him based off of his contract, based off of his field goal percentage and accuracy that has slowly dipped down over the last couple of years. Is he fully healthy? Does that lead to it? How does that change how Andy Reid handles, fourth downs, depending on the length of a field goal? We know the rest of the league now having the big leg is not as uncommon. That's expected now from your kicker.
If anything, Butker's distance is not nearly as good as some of the other premier guys in the league, right? I don't want to make it seem like it's not that, but I mean, genuinely, he's not the biggest kicker in the league anymore. At least hasn't been since those hip injuries. Is that what it was? Hamstring? It's been a couple different things for him, hasn't it?
Knee, right?
Or knee, yeah.
I still think the big question for him and the part that he has still over time done better than everybody else is when a clutch kick, the biggest spots, nobody has made more clutch kicks over the last 5 to 10 years in the National Football League than Harrison Butker. And ultimately, we're talking about big games in the playoffs, which is what this team, except for last year, has been in. He's made those kicks. The minute that doesn't happen anymore, then it's over. But that still is the part that matters more than anything else is the clutch kicks. As long as he's making those, I can live with him being a little more on the average size of the field goals. But when it comes to his salary, Cody, he's paid like the top kicker in football or second. I guess Aubrey now might be making more.
But he's
a top five kicker.
One of the top five kickers.
But the field goal accuracy, that side of it, has definitely dipped down over the last couple of years. So we'll hear from Harrison Butker. I'm sure somebody's going to ask him about his health and what he thinks he needs to work on moving forward.
I guess part of that is, and you're right, but this is make or break for him. They don't have to pay him anymore after this one. So they can work out whatever system they want after this year and figure out who they want to bring in. And look, they eventually, I'll point out, the kicker they had before Harrison Butker is still in the league, doing a pretty good job. The last couple of kickers they had before him are still in the league doing a good job. And I'm not saying you can always just find people off the street. I'm not so delusional that I think that there's just no way to make it happen or no consistency. And to your and I's point, he's been the biggest big game kicker this side of Adam Vinatieri. He's the second probably most clutch kicker in NFL history. He has made massive kicks. A lot of this at times is not diminishing what he has done as a Chief, and I think people sometimes take it that way. It is, I'm sorry, but the last 3 years, he has been a below average in accuracy, below average in distance, below average in extra points. He's been the 17th best kicker in the NFL the last 3 years combined. That ain't good enough. So we're close to good enough. In the postseason, he's still been the best. They didn't make the postseason last year. And so, they didn't get the benefit of that. So maybe, you forget about it for a minute. But what would help you get to the postseason sometimes? Making all your kicks, or most of them. I'm not saying they lost a lot of one-score games last year. They were 1-9 in them. So I got to say, feels like a field goal or two might have made a difference in a win or two for a team. Whether that kick is made in the first quarter or the fourth, you still got to put him between the uprights. So I'll be curious to see what he says about health, his consistency, those things. Because, he's got a big year ahead of him. He's one of the guys on the hot seat. There's almost no doubt, right? If we listed off the 5 Chiefs players on the hot seat, Rice is one. Congrats. But Butker's still on the list.
Hot seat as in not being here after
this year? As in they're playing for their contract.
Yeah, well then, for sure. I mean, Chris Jones is on that list too.
Yep.
Just because of the giant cap number that exists after this year.
Now quickly, who is the list? Butker, Jones, Rice. Worthy?
He's playing for a future contract. He's obviously on the team next year no matter what, but he's playing for a future contract. I'll give you that.
Bolton?
No.
I don't think it's him. I'm tossing out some names just to try to get a feel for it. Jalen Moore, but I mean, he's just too far down the.
No, Jalen Moore is absolutely,
Moore,
yeah.
he's probably
expires.
on the list.
Yeah, I would say Jalen Moore's absolutely on the
He's
list.
probably playing for starter jobs, whether it's here or somewhere else in town.
Hey, our guest that's coming up, if you want to go
Noah
further
Gray?
down the list.
Oh, he's
Noah
on the
Gray.
list, yeah.
I mean, what does he bounce back? Does somebody else, Jake Brenningstool or somebody else, take his role moving forward? I think it's a big year for Noah Gray, and yeah, he's going to join us here in just a little bit. By the way, our training camp coverage presented by Yuengling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yuengling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. While we're waiting for practice to wrap up, and so far it's at least been a practice in which there's been no new injury news or anything like that, I did want to talk about something that we meant to get to actually on Monday's show. We just never got there, and that is that some chaos continues to happen in college sports because you may have seen that a federal court allowed now NCAA's new eligibility rule, which is enhancing the ability for eligibility going all the way back to 2022. So it ruled that all high school class of 2022 athletes who already exhausted their fourth year of college eligibility this spring are now eligible for a fifth season. So what that caused is all of a sudden a lot of these rosters for college basketball in particular this coming year were set. College football, a lot of rosters where people were already thinking that were set. And now you have some players moving forward that are going to get a fifth year. And it's causing a lot of chaos in the recruiting circles, too, moving forward. And it impacts players that are, coming out of high school for next year.
Yeah, look, the truth is, and I'm sure Drew can talk to this because he is a...
Like an undrafted player in a training camp right now could actually go back to college. Somebody that's, like, theoretically, Khalil Benson, in this hypothetical, could actually, assuming he did not already attend due to redshirt or something, he could theoretically, because he's undrafted, go back to college in the fall if he wanted to.
I mean, that's a nightmare.
He's not going to. He's going to probably be on the Chiefs. But the point is, he could.
I think it opens up a bad can of worms, but I don't blame the courts for doing this. This is the NCAA's problem still, not the people who keep trying to get back into the league. I don't blame anybody for trying to get back, and this makes it easier for Melvin Council to try to get back on Kansas. The problem, you know what it is?
The guys that left are not able to come back. There was a clarification of that, and there's a story from Dellinger and Yahoo Sports. So student athletes who have pursued a professional path are ineligible to return to the. I understand that. I'm just.
Do you know which
there was a
sports this
correction
ruins?
that came out yesterday.
That makes more sense.
There's a correction that came out yesterday. Student athletes who have pursued a professional path are ineligible to return to their previous school. Also, if you did not enter the portal in the designated window, the players who return, you have to go back to your school. Like said player can't. Oh, yeah, hold on, I'm coming back and I'm transferring. Nope, you have to go back to your previous school. That's why we're seeing players return. There was a guy at Indiana yesterday. He can't enter the portal. He has to go back to Indiana, regardless of anything else. So that is where the roster confusion gets in, where some teams' rosters are already set, where it's like, yo, we don't have a spot for you on this team right now because we replaced you. That's some of the issue that people are running into, but that's part of the ruling as well, that if you do come back, you have to go back to the school that you were at last season. You cannot move elsewhere if you did not enter the portal within the designated window originally.
Do you know who this really hurts? This hurts we'll hear about a random player at LSU baseball and some guard at Indiana football. We'll hear a handful. There'll be 10 or 15 players, basketball, football, baseball, that go back. The non-revenue sports, Drew, this is a mess. For softball, for these schools that love having 4-year players and would love nothing more than to get a fifth year out of some senior shortstop in softball that they've had this entire time, and now they can just come back and get the job. Oh, they'll be happy to put him back on there and screw everyone else below them because their job is still to win. It's not a weird ruling in the sense that, again, the NCAA has no control, and it continues to cause this problem. But, I mean, genuinely, it is an issue outside of there, and I don't know how they're going to try to work through it in a lot of ways.
Well, this is why the Protect College Sports Act cloture got filed today in the Senate. So they are pushing this thing like over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the SEC and the Big Ten basically met, gathered, reformed it, and the bill's getting sent to the Senate. Like, this thing could be official, and it's pushing forward, I think, partially almost because of this sort of a thing and all the chaos that it could cause. I think it's really ramped up the Big Ten and the SEC's ideas of how do we get this thing to get across the line, and we're on the precipice, essentially, of it being on the Senate floor here. I don't know exactly when, but
yeah, it could be Friday.
But it is going through to the Senate partially because of this. One other thing about this ruling too. Again, I'm looking at this Ross Dellinger article. Any school, so the player returning again is restricted to play for their previous school if there's space. Any school that takes a quote unquote ghost transfer or a player that didn't enter the portal in that designated window will have the head coach suspended for 50% of the regular season, and the program is going to be fined. So essentially, if the player doesn't have a roster spot, like if they want to return, but the school doesn't want them, or they say the roster's full, then they can't go anywhere. Otherwise, the head coach of that school, wherever they go to, risks being suspended for half the season.
I will say, all this encourages, in the way you're talking about it, Drew, is every single player should enter the portal whether they're planning on or not. You can take your name out.
That's what we've seen
What's
here.
the difference? You can take your name out, just throw your name in.
Yes.
Just throw your name in. On the off chance you need to leave, Got to leave your options open. I will say, if the team says we don't want you back, though, why the hell can I not enter the portal then? What kind of system is it that the team can say no thanks, but I'm still not allowed to go pursue another home even though I'm eligible
I think because
to play?
But the reason why is not because it's not the other cleared reasons, like your head coach left, program, and all those other things. It's a ruling got made that was outside of the whole intention of getting down to one portal window was to limit the chaos that things caused in June, where players are like, well, I didn't play in the spring. I'm not going to get playing time. I'm leaving. And then they transfer in June, and it creates more chaos by having two different windows. That's why they just got down to the one. So if you didn't, which is to your point, why you should just enter in the portal in that one window, because you never know, I guess, in that case.
You can tell the coach, hey, I'm not actually planning on leaving, man. It's just, it's a safety net. They're not going to let me, like if something happens and you try to tell me I can't be on the team, I got to be able to go somewhere.
Yeah. And some players, I am convinced that there are some players who use it essentially as a negotiation tactic, if you will. Like, I'm entering the portal, and if you want me, then exactly. Can you boost up the NIL, and you use that as a leverage play. Definitely. I think that's. But also for these guys who left, they thought their eligibility was expired. So they didn't enter the portal because they thought that they were done. So I think there is some fairness to your point of, well, if I have to go back, why am I not allowed to just kind of go wherever I want to because I thought my eligibility was expired? It turns out it's not, but you're forcing me to go back to the school that has probably already replaced me. I do. The whole thing is just chaotic because there's a whole bunch of different scenarios and thought points that we can give as to the way it should be or the way that it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's chaotic. Now, I will say that this initial issue that we're discussing right this second, this is a one-time issue. It's because we're having a rule change in the middle of it. There's always going to be there's some catching up to do. Like, if fast forward 5 years from now, nobody's going to be questioning whether or not they're eligible or not. If in fact this bill passes, this is a one-time issue where we're in this gray area for another couple months maybe of, well, now I am eligible, and can I go back? Can I not go back? If this vote takes place, and it sounds like the thought is, at least at Capitol Hill, that they could vote on it as soon as Friday.
Let's hope so.
And we'll see if that actually happens. Now, maybe something else speeds it up and it gets done today or tomorrow, but it feels like this is the week for it to finally happen, and then we should have ultimate clarity. Doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect system, but we should have at least clarity on everything going on with collegiate athletics. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll get to the Chiefs Red half hour. Practice is still going on. We told you it's the longest practice of camp so far.
Noah Gray's caught a couple touchdowns today, so we can ask him about that.
Definitely will.
Do you think there's like a bet? Do you think that there's like a pool or trash talk that happens if like you get more touchdowns in a practice than somebody else?
I'm sure there's some stuff they do.
Ask him. Maybe he won't peel behind the curtain, but I'm going to ask.
I'm sure there's some trash talk and stuff like that. I don't know if they have anything on the line.
Like a pool?
More. Yeah, I don't know. You can ask.
I think if there's one thing I know about, I think athletes do like to have a little like, oh, let's bet on something. Like there's that competitive spirit. It's like we're already competing, but let's compete twice.
What, like a side bet on like a golf hole or something like that? Like whoever has the most touchdowns by the end of training camp gets.
By the end of training camp, gets a kitty we all threw $500 in. That's not against the NFL rules for players to bet against themselves or whatever. Or at least I don't think it is. I guess it could be. Well, I guess if
side
it
bets,
is, don't admit it.
I mean, it might be.
Side bets against themselves. They're not betting on. They're not heading over to FanDuel to bet on a preseason training camp touchdown. You can't do that anyway. That'd be insane and degenerative behavior if you were to do that. I'm just curious of whether or not they do that. They're working in a little bit of more red zone on the other side. They haven't even gotten to special teams yet, so it still very well could be outside of that. By the way, stay tuned on 96.5 The Fan social media channels. I believe we'll have a video out talking about Khalil Benson's arrival to Camp Darling Island, Alex. I recorded some audio in my best Ian Sterling voice earlier today
to
try to announce his arrival. You know?
He got voted on the island yesterday, if you missed it. He is now on Camp Darling Island. We did have to remove a couple people, though.
It might be a double elimination day again later this week. But at the very least, we'll do an elimination tomorrow. And then maybe we try to wait a little longer to eliminate too many people because we want to give them a chance to actually show out in practice or have an opportunity to do it. Been a good day for Noah Gray in that department. A lot of other guys stood out. Looked like they had, at least for the wet field, some of the handoff drills, they let Mahomes take off for a little bit and let somebody else run the reps on that. I think for the most part it was Justin Fields at least handling that, as they're now into the kicking portion of training camp. But as we await for Noah Gray, we can always get to a break early as well. But first, trash?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
All right, so you guys might have seen and heard the audio from the weekend where Martha Reeves sang the national anthem at the first ever women's professional baseball game. That was a clip that went viral Saturday or Sunday. Fast forward to today, and there's an update on this. TMZ, of course, found a way to obtain exclusive video prior to the anthem performance.
They're good at getting it.
Where Martha Reeves, after, and we'll refresh your memory in a second on how bad that anthem performance was. But this was Martha Reeves critiquing the backup singers before her performance. So knowing how bad it was, she was critiquing the backup singers, and then hours later she would put together the terrible performance. So here's what she was caught on video saying.
That's how the tune. And I'm glad was still there. We watched words from that. Now you singing with me. Who's singing the same note I'm singing? Why?
All right, so it goes on from there. So that's her during basically practice or warm-ups or whatever. Hours
she said
before,
it's out of tune. That's crazy.
Critiquing the backup singers for being out of tune. And then, Drew, do we have the audio of the actual performance?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
It's an all-timer.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
So that you probably heard by now. Oh,
God.
So
cut it off, Drew. I can't listen to
that was enough.
And then again, the audio we played new today was her critiquing her
backup
backup singers when she was that bad.
I know you guys hate me singing.
Man.
There is no way in this universe you think I'd do worse than that if I had to do it.
I think
they
that
me at the
is
K
hope
tonight
for you.
to do the national anthem, and there is no way it is that bad. Come on.
It wouldn't be that bad because
I didn't say it'd be good.
She was also trying to be like.
Oh, I'd keep it simple.
Yeah, that's the thing. She was trying to, and it was all the way around bad.
Mine would be very low energy, but at least somewhat on key.
Yeah, that is, we've all heard the Roseanne Barr anthem, which was, this is right there. This is right there with the Roseanne Barr one.
It's one of the worst I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I can't explain is why are they singing at different tempos? Why are they singing different notes? Why? What? Nobody. You guys did practice this because I just heard the video of you trashing your backup singers. So I know you ran through it once. Who was not the voice in the room to be like, guys, I don't think we can do this. I legitimately. They need to just play the one over the speaker.
She's had a long career too.
Did something happen?
I don't know.
Was she drunk like that one? The girl who had to go to rehab?
No, I don't think so. But Martha Reeves is this is not just some random person. She used to be good back in the day.
Who's singing the same note I'm singing?
She was hated.
I don't know. She's 85 years old. Maybe she's going through stuff. I have no idea, Cody.
Our friend Joe Summers just sent us a second trash of the day since we're waiting for practice to end. You want a second one?
We're taking requests now.
Headline.
Go ahead.
Headline. Man arrested after dressing as Grim Reaper on hospital roof and staring at patients.
What?
Yes, that's right. A 26-year-old man has been arrested after dressing as the Grim Reaper on top of a Welsh hospital to only stand up there and stare at staff and visitors. They were called after they saw a man in a black hooded outfit was seen overlooking the entrance of the hospital. Man later identified as Leon Gillespie was also seen brandishing what appeared to be a long blade, like a Sith. He was later charged for causing a nuisance and disturbance without a reasonable excuse. He dressed up in a Grim Reaper costume and stood outside the hospital holding the weapon of choice for the Grim Reaper. That's messed up, man.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine you just walking into the hospital for just your regular, like you were going to go have your nasal surgery. You're walking into the surgery center, there's just dude on top of the building dressed as the Grim Reaper, be like, oh, damn, I don't think I want surgery today. I don't think that today's the day.
It would freak me out a little bit.
You said this happened in Wales?
Wales, yep. There's a Welshman who was deciding to mess with everybody entering the hospital. Come on, man, that's messed up. That's really messed up, isn't it? The idea, legitimately, I would consider canceling my surgery that day. Drew, if you were walking in for surgery and there was a guy standing there as a Grim Reaper, wouldn't you have a second thought?
I would just think
I'm shutting the blinds or something. Please.
I know, but it's still ominous.
Yeah.
Still not a great feeling walking into the hospital and there's just some guy dressed like the Grim Reaper.
That, or would you more spooked if you're walking in and a black cat just walked in front of you right as you're about
to walk in? The Grim Reaper,
I
think, in that case,
Yeah, the Grim
right?
Reaper, I think.
That's got to be the one.
Someone said
that absolutely has to be the
Martha Reeves and Cody Tapp Christmas Classics.
I'd walk under 100 ladders into the surgery center before I'm comfortable with a Grim Reaper just sitting atop the building.
Cody, if Martha
Because
Reeves...
for half a second you'd be like, wait, is the Grim Reaper real?
Cody, if Martha...
I don't think so.
But we know it's not, so it's like...
Go ahead. What'd you say,
If
Drew?
Martha Reeves asked you if you wanted to collab with her and do a Christmas classic album, would you do it? Or after hearing that anthem, would you say absolutely not?
I mean, her name's in the news. Probably help us get the word out, I guess. But damn, I can't explain what went wrong on that thing.
Somebody wants Drew to play the drunk national anthem.
I felt bad playing that after it turns out she had a problem and she had to go to rehab.
Correct.
I don't like to make fun of people who have like an
That's why we
addiction.
haven't played it since.
Do you know, Cody, I had you, we didn't know this at the time. I had Cody record himself singing the national anthem and was going to play it, and then that story came out.
So we didn't play it.
Correct.
I did it really quick, in the car.
Correct. It never aired because we found out that...
Is my national anthem still in the system?
I actually believe it is. I have to...
Oh, God. I mean, we could play a couple of seconds of it if you have it. We don't want to play the whole thing, but I guess just search national anthem? I don't know. Drew asked me to send it. I sent it while I was on vacation.
We never played it because we found out.
And then I forgot all about it. And I recorded it very quick, in the car.
I don't have it. I don't have it in there. I can't find it.
Cody, the Grim Reaper would be scaring the patients. Martha would be torturing the patients.
Jeez.
Geneva Convention issues, Not allowed to just torture people for no reason. That's the trash of the day as we await the end of practice.
All right, coming up next, guys, we'll continue broadcasting here from St. Joe. Let's get to the Chiefs Red half hour. As you said, we're expecting Noah Gray to stop by. We're also going to hear from Andy Reid, Amari DiMercato, and Harrison Butker on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%. which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts gets you back to savings. Pick up select Royal Purple fuel system additives. Buy one, get one free. Plus receive 4 times O-Rewards points.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's up, Chiefs fans? It's Travis Kelce, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour with Cody and Gold. Weekdays at 11:30 on 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour as we continue broadcasting live from St. Joe. Practice still going on here. It's going to be well over an hour and a half practice. And also remember they had to go inside briefly due to the weather earlier this morning. It's now just been overcast and maybe a chance of some more showers a little bit later on during the show. But practice about to wrap up. We're going to have Noah Gray join us. It honestly is perfect day to have him. This just so happens to be a day where he's maybe the standout player of camp.
He's had 2 touchdown catches, one that was right at toe tap at the back of the end zone. He's gotten open multiple times, and look, if there's going to be wide receivers still missing, feels like a good opportunity to catch some passes.
But on the wide receiver front, the good news for the first time since we've been at camp, for the first time, Rashee Rice is actually participating in 11-on-11 periods. That is not something he's been practicing, but he has not done 11-on-11 work until today. So on the longest practice of the year, as you continue to ramp up, he continues to ramp up with the knee rehab. That's a good sign. We'll keep an eye on L'Jarius Sneed, who also was going through the same process of trying to slowly ease himself in. But I do like seeing that update today that Rashee Rice was out there in 11-on-11 drills.
While we wait for practice to wrap and Noah Gray recover, can I tell you about an interaction that I witnessed?
An interaction.
Nothing to do with me. I want to make that very clear. I just
right.
witnessed this interaction, and it was one of the more bizarre things I feel like I've seen in a public space. So, walking up the hill to camp, I was going to use the restroom, and if you walk up towards the media tent, there's like a thin gate for like people who are sitting up in these tents areas to go up there, including where like the media tent is. Coming down, while I was getting ready to walk up, were two women like who clearly like work for the training camp area that have RN, like registered nurse tags attached to their belt loop, probably just making sure if something happens, they can, make sure everyone's okay. No problems. Totally normal. They like to make sure that there's no health issues for people. A woman stopped them both and said, "Hey, I need a piece of advice real quick." And so they stopped, and then she proceeded, and I wish I was kidding, to show them a rash on her leg and asked if she needed it to get looked at. She just stopping random nurses at training camp looking for medical advice. Insane behavior.
There wasn't
that?
like an actual in the moment thing that needed to be addressed.
No, she just wanted this rash looked at.
Hey, what do you think about this?
Because she's an RN, apparently. Might as well find out if she's got an opinion on whether. Just go to the doctor.
I'm guessing that happens.
I'm sorry, that is like weird social behavior.
I agree. I'm guessing anybody listening that's a nurse or wife's a nurse or whatever.
Or
a doctor. I'm guessing that something like that has happened before where someone hears that you're a doctor or a nurse and suddenly.
Oh, can you take a look at this?
Now they're asking you every single medical question.
But at Chiefs training camp?
That's a little.
There's no privacy. There's thousands of people around.
Is she claiming that she just got the rash while she was here?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think clearly this is something that she can't decide if she needs to go get looked at.
I don't know
and
if
so
this
she's
is a
like,
good
cool, nurse here.
Gold, do you think this is, I don't know if this would be shades of this, but if Rick Burholter was around and Cody was like, "Hey, man, my wrist is bothering me, and I wanted to see if you could, like, take a look at it for a second."
We did this as a joke once with LDT.
It's funny you say that because we were at media night in Arizona.
For the Super Bowl.
I think it was Arizona, right? For the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
it might have been Miami. Oh.
Might have been Miami.
I think it was Miami. It was the very first one. I was there with Ryan Witkowski. It was the first one.
Okay, and we went around and talked to players, of course, and at one point, LDT, for those obviously don't remember, of course, he was a doctor. And so Cody asked him for advice on his elbow, I think it was.
Yeah, I had elbow bursitis at the time, and we thought it would be funny to ask Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who was a then trained doctor, despite with his.
I'll give this lady here.
And we asked him about it, and he gave me a real diagnosis on video.
Yeah, I'll give this lady the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she got stung by a wasp up here, Cody.
She said rash. She said the word rash.
Maybe
that doesn't imply a sting.
Yeah, maybe it was poison ivy.
I mean, fine.
Here
but
you go.
Like,
text line.
Go
bunch
somewhere
of people
else.
Texting in saying they said they're best friends as a head nurse. They text that person from time to time for advice. Someone else says, "My wife is a nurse. Every time something happens to any kids in our neighborhood, everyone always comes and asks her." Someone else says, "Not weird at all." Someone else said, "I'm a chef, and I've had numerous situations where people have asked me to come over for dinner only to find out that they haven't even started. They recruit me to help them in and up cooking the whole dinner."
That's crazy.
That's messed up. Hey, you want to come over and have dinner? Oh, why don't you just cook it? Why don't you end up?
That's insane. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yes, of course it is. I think it's messed up to even ask for like a hand in the kitchen to the chef. When you invite him over here to do his job, that'd be like, I don't know. I mean, what's the equivalent? Me coming over to your house for dinner and you're like, "Hey, can you hop on my podcast for a second?"
No, there's no equivalent.
That is kind of close, though. If they said, "Hey, man, do you mind doing the podcast with me for the next hour?" You'd be like, "I thought we were just hanging out, dude. I don't want to do the podcast for the next hour. That's going to be a separate incident."
My uncle is an RN, and every now and then I'll text him like, "Hey, I'm dealing with this. Should I go? Should
but
I
at least
go have
it's
it looked
your
at?"
uncle.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm sure that. It helps a little bit.
Text line does make a good point on this, which is, Cody, you ask for advice all the time from random listeners. How's it any different than you bringing up something and then just asking for advice?
It feels different because it's the in-person aspect.
Yeah.
And, like, stopping someone walking. I would never just, like, stop a random person walking and be like, "Hey, real quick, can I get an invite?" I don't, like, we're sitting in the tent right now. Our tent next to us is always, like, sponsored by somebody.
Yeah.
This one happens to be sponsored by Commerce Bank. I don't think I can pop over to this guy and be like, "Hey, should I move some money out of my IRA and into
I'm
this
sure
account?"
they'd love to talk to you. I'm sure they love your
I
business.
don't think I should go bug the bankers and ask them, hey, take a quick look at my retirement account. Do you think that I've got this invested in the right way?
What's the interest rate these days? What's the CD going for these days?
What are you guys getting on auto loans right now? Just curious, what are we looking at over there?
Someone said if they want to poison their in-laws, they can invite Cody to cook from the 913.
That's true. Cioppino. Don't ever have Cioppino from Cody Tap.
I've never made Cioppino since. It's ruined the dish for me.
Well, yeah, you're giving me a hard time about this, this lettuce
like
outbreak. You're the one.
I didn't poison anybody with
lettuce
that.
outbreak.
People
You're telling me I shouldn't eat lettuce. You're over here making Cioppino and actually getting people sick. That's way worse.
I didn't get anybody sick with the
I would
Cioppino.
be way more concerned about having Cioppino at your house than I would having lettuce from Taco Bell.
On the 10-year anniversary, I'm going to need Nick to come in town and you come over and we'll all have a nice bowl of Cioppino. Just once, although Alex doesn't eat seafood, so it doesn't really work.
Some seafood.
Someone
I can't
says
have shellfish.
From the 785, try being an HVAC, won't hear from friends for years. And all of a sudden they want you to come look at their AC for a discount, ask if they need to, that makes sense. Electricians, HVAC, like if you work a skill, like a trade, they're just asking for free work, I bet.
That's fair. And then someone says, what, people don't ask you your sports takes? Yeah, but that just seems more of like a conversation.
Colloquial, yeah.
Yeah, that just seems more like that's just a conversation you would have with people whether you're in sports or not.
Yeah, like I don't think.
Do people want to know do we have that where someone maybe wants to, like they know, like I just had this happen a few days ago, right? And you probably did too. If you see something, they know you've been at camp, and so they're like, hey, what do you think?
That's a little
okay, that's different. But in general, talking about sports is just something you would do anyway. I don't know. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Now Twitch is over giving advice, like don't buy Bitcoin till it bottoms. They're just like giving advice over on this end. Look, in fairness, it just felt like she was just like maybe a woman in her 40s, 40s, maybe late 40s or whatever. It's just like you're choosing this moment to be like, just go to urgent care. Make a doctor's appointment. Why are you
By the way, what did they tell her?
They were talking with her. I felt like I couldn't stick around. I felt like HIPAA at some point. I can't just be sitting around listening to this. And
I don't think that if you're right there
diagnosis.
while it's happening, I don't think it's HIPAA. It would be HIPAA if they told you after the fact. You're right there. It's just it's an open conversation.
She chose to have it in person. That's all. I just thought you guys would like to know about that interaction.
Says, what the hell is Cioppino? I didn't know until I found out he poisoned
someone with it. It's a seafood stew dish.
It's not a normal dish to make.
It's a normal dish depending on what part of the world you're in, probably, I guess.
I'm in this part of the world right now. How about
we used
this
to
part
serve
of
it
the
at the restaurant I worked at. It's not that insane.
I'd never heard of it
we
either until it got brought up
Webster
either,
House.
Cody. In fairness, I had no
You're
clue
not
what it was.
cultured, Drew. This is not a fair question.
Settle
come
down.
on.
Settle
Now,
down.
come on.
You got to experience the world of fine dining.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it is? Huh?
We don't pay you enough at Odyssey. I know you can't.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, it's not my say. I'd pay Drew all the money in the world. They don't let me choose.
I appreciate that. All the money that you would make from your songs, yes. I will take the royalty check.
Yeah, I'd split the royalties with you.
Okay.
You're always helping them push them out. I'd help you, Drew. if they only gave me the choice. As a reminder, practice was a little bit interesting today because there were a lot of different players and moving pieces because of the rain, and they came back in. We'll hear from Noah Gray in just a minute. I do want to ask about a player. We're not going to hear from the podium today, but did get second-team reps yesterday, and Nate Taylor brought him up. Do we think Brashard Smith can actually get carries or catches this year?
No.
Is he a special teams player?
He's a practice.
Why did he get second-string snaps?
I think he's a returner.
Because Emmett Johnson can't block?
I think he's a returner on if he makes this team and he's not practice squad, it's because they need him as a returner. They need a spark in the return game. And I do think Brashard Smith, who had a history of doing that, going back to his Miami days, right? He was at SMU, but he was at Miami before that. Go back to his Miami days. He was a decent returner. That would be his path to making the team. I don't think he's like the number 2 running back. Absolutely not. I think that's Steve Mercado, honestly. The issue for Emmett Johnson is more just do they trust him in pass protection?
I guess, and look, the answer, DeMarcado's got a history of being okay in pass protection, so we'd think that'd be all right.
All right, let's go to the podium and hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid.
As far as the injuries go, Cyrus didn't practice today, but making improvement there. Baza would be the new one. He had a groin strain. We'll just see where that goes. Fulton has a hip flexor strain. Gelati is still making progress with the hamstring. Tranquil just had low back spasms, and so we backed off him there. And then Xavier's making progress with the shoulder. Other than that, I think that covers that part. Great to get out here and get to working. We had goal line short yardage yesterday. We have red zone today. Guys are working hard at the different situations, the field positions, and the main thing is they're challenging each other and getting better every day here. So that's important. Anyways, time's yours.
And you saw Felix with the 1 sub today. What kind of progress has he been making?
Yeah, so with Jelani down, he's getting a few more reps in there, doing a nice job. You can tell that his explosion off the ball is better. He's and then he's working through just playing, but he's doing a nice job with it. Way different though, getting off of the ball. If there was one thing that jumps out at me, it's that.
Coach, Rasheed seems to be getting more live reps. He even took a little hit today.
Yeah, no, he got a lot of good reps today, which is important. You just got to, ease him back in and just keep working. And we know he's a good football player. So, and you can see he actually got better as practice went on. So that was a good thing.
Andy, we didn't see Jake Brenning's school much last year, tight end. What do you see from him?
He had the hamstring, so right away, even in the mini camp. So it's great that he's back to back in some practices here, and then you get a chance to see what he's all about. He's a good receiver, and you know what? He's stuck his nose in there and he's blocking. And my hat goes off to him. You got to keep stacking him, and that's his challenge right now.
What have you seen as far as little things you got to do, pass protection?
Yeah, so I like the pass protection. I like the way when he's not going to bounce anything or do that. He sees it and then he lowers it and he hits it, and in the run game, and I think that's important. Pass routes are pretty good, so he's played. He's got experience. It's just pushing yourself through this workload. And I like what I'm seeing here the last couple of days.
Kind of the same thing with Johnson. How's he coming along?
Yeah, same deal. Now younger guy, so he's learning as he goes here, and he's pushing himself. So you saw a couple of these where he's brought the pad level down. You go in high at this level, and you're going to get rearranged, and you don't want that to happen.
Xavier and Cyrus down. What have you learned about some of your younger receivers, like Andrew Armstrong, for example?
Yeah, I like what Armstrong's doing. Big kid, strong. Looks like the quarterback trusts him, both of them, top two guys. They trust him on his route running. He's got good speed for a big kid and good transition. He's not stiff coming out of breaks, and that's important. Then Jimmy's the other one. Jimmy is same thing. He's really shown the last few days here, and that's important for him and his job.
With Josh and Kingsley working that line, not as much work as you would like last year, but now they're really getting the full ramp-up process. What are you seeing on that left side line in your left?
Yeah, you can see him communicating. Kingsley does a nice job with that, making sure Josh gets all the calls and everything, and so the more they play together, the better it'll be. And they're both very gifted, and so athletically. And it's just a matter of the techniques, fundamentals, all that stuff, and they work like crazy. And Heck does a good job working on those guys.
Nate?
Andy, one trend that's going on in the league is more teams are having GoPros on the top of the quarterback's helmet. I guess you'll just get a better sense of what their progression and view is. Have you ever considered putting a GoPro on the quarterback's helmets?
Yeah, I stand back there. I'm a versatile GoPro.
Coach, we see one versus ones. What's that show you when you see your best on offense versus your best on defense?
I like the way they work. They know how to work without falling on the ground and doing that bit, but yet they're still coming and bringing it, which is important. They're willing to work, and they work against each other, and they do it the right way. So I appreciate that.
Coach, on Josh, you remember back in camp talking about where his weight was, where he'd like to be. How's he doing weight-wise, and what do you see him?
Yeah, so he put on weight in the offseason. He's been able to maintain it, and I think it'll help him. Just not that he couldn't do it at the other weight, but this gives him a little bit more lead in his pants, and it pays off for you. Over time, it pays off for you during the season.
Nate, close it up.
With Drew being out today, look to see like Jack Cochran was just a lot more active. You learn anything about him as he sort of grows in his
Jack
career?
knows everything. Jack knows all the positions. He knows everything. He's a good special teams player on top of that. So you feel comfortable as a coach putting him in any of the spots, and he knows that part of it. So you need a couple guys like that out there. All right, good. Thank you.
All right, that was Andy Reid speaking to the media after practice today. Starting with the injury front there, a couple new ones, unfortunately. Drew Tranquil, maybe some back tightness. Hopefully, just a couple days of practice in a row and just trying to get acclimated. Don't like hearing that. Bassa, he said he's got groin tightness, I think is what they said. Once again, Rashee Rice was out there 11 on 11 for the first time. Cyrus Allen still working his way back, and then Christian Fulton, we say hip flexor.
So at least we get some sense, although I'd still love an update on what's going on with Mansour. They haven't really
signed autographs over there. It's just a continued story from Jeremy Fowler. It makes sense, right? That they're a couple weeks away still probably to allowing him to have pads on.
Most likely. And unfortunately, that being the case, and it's kind of stuck in this no man's land. But it's like you gotta figure out, and look, this is not surprising. 3 straight days in pads, Gold, I'm not surprised there's a few more like, ooh, my back hurts, oh, my legs hurt. That's not even like, not trying to get people hurt, but it's also not a surprising consequence of Andy's been making them work extra hard these last 3 days at camp. It is meant to be a grind. It is meant to test you physically. It is meant to get through there. I am disappointed that Cyrus Allen and Xavier Worthy don't get to be a part of that. And Mansour Delane, it's like those guys feels like it'd be a good benefit of having those guys out there and allowing those guys to work in those conditions. But injuries are the injuries. You know, like it's just kind of is what it is, and they're going to have to figure out which way to go on it. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for Noah Gray. But
let's go back to the podium while we're waiting for Noah. Josh Simmons, Chiefs starting left tackle, speaking now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to add off of last year. Obviously, I went against a lot of good DNs, and I have 1 year of familiarity with the playbook, so it's really just kind of stacking up on that. That way I can come into training camp ready.
Physically, just getting your body right for this. There's no process and transformation for that.
100%.
Guys, you went through one-on-ones last year this time in camp. Is there anything you wanted to work on differently now having gone through the experience one time?
I think just going back to the basics and kind of mastering that, I think you can never go wrong with that. So every time we come out in training camp and we're going against each other, I just try to literally hone in on those basic techniques.
From your perspective, what have you seen from Army St. Thomas in these early days?
Extremely explosive. You almost have to be offsides to kind of stay in front of him. So I think he'll definitely keep me in any tackle on their toes to make sure you're on the snap count for sure.
I know you're not a veteran guy, but still, the field's still improved. What you went through last year was getting some starters reps as a tackle. What kind of memories do you have from that you can maybe impart on?
I think Khalil's doing a great job. I think he's a very physical player. I think he should just add on to that. I think you can't really teach effort. I mean, that's what he's giving out there, so that's really all I'm telling him right now is keep doing that effort thing.
How different is it this year? Last year you were coming off the injury and maybe still rehabbing while you're trying to get through camp going in the NFL, going through all it takes to get ready for it. Now this year you can just focus on football. How much maybe freer is your mind? How much better is your body?
Yeah. Exactly like you said. I mean, you have a little bit more room on your plate to kind of fit maybe an extra hour of film here, maybe, getting with the boys, getting on something like that. Just you have more time to kind of add back into some on the field.
And the weight, I know that was one of the conversations back in the camp.
Yep.
Good where you're at weight-wise?
Yes, sir.
Share a number?
I mean, it's kind of ballpark right now, but it's definitely where it needs to be.
Josh, it seems to us that you guys are emphasizing more of the screen game and sort of a variety of screens you guys are working on. I remember last year saying you enjoyed running screens because of the versatility and athleticism. What does it sort of look like to you in terms of what the screen game could be with Kenneth Walker in the backfield?
Extremely scary. Obviously, we kind of know what Nine does and what he's capable of doing. So as long as we can just target and get to our assignments, we know he's going to take us home, 100%.
Josh, you've been able to have the pads on for multiple days. How's it feel to kind of be back in action?
Feels good. Like I said, I mean, that offseason in the OTAs was good. You got more familiarity with the playbook. You build more chemistry with Kingsley and Creed and how they operate and things like that. So coming back here, it was just like filling in answers for the test.
Trey talked earlier this week about his journey through camp, each year, and he's in year 6. How much has he poured into you about, year by year?
100%. I think Trey is one of the bigger role models for me coming into the league. I think everything he does in terms of how he comes into, how he approaches every drill, every workout is just, I think, what an O-line is supposed to be. So I just try to take from that and build my own kind of, taste to it in terms of the pro.
You mentioned the chemistry you and Kingsley. How's that developing over these training camps?
Yeah, I mean, I understand how he kind of goes about blocks now, kind of what he's seeing and when he's coming to the line. So, I mean, if I can kind of understand and kind of have that telepathy with him, then I think we can play a lot faster.
Thanks, Josh.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Josh Simmons briefly speaking to the media after practice. We're still trying to see if we were going to get Noah Gray today. He was scheduled to stop by, but I believe he's left the practice field. So
I don't see anybody else down
we'll
here.
Keep an eye on that. We've sent a text out, so we'll let you know. If not, maybe he'll call in. If not, we'll figure it out. But we were supposed to have Noah Gray stop by. As far as Josh Simmons goes, you heard Andy mention it as well. That was the question heading into camp was about it, like his weight and would he put on some weight. And you heard Andy talk about basically where he's at now and his ability to play at this particular weight should allow him to be even more effective.
Well, I mean, that's the truth. He's like, it's not that he can't play at that weight because he's a great athlete, but no offensive tackle plays at that weight. It's insane.
Someone who he might be blocking for throughout the season, Amari DiMercato. Maybe he's the number 2 running back. He's at the podium right now.
Just this storied franchise. I'm honored, blessed to be here, and who wouldn't want to come play for Coach Reid?
What jumps out so far about this training camp? Because I imagine it's somewhat different from being in Arizona.
Well, for sure, the first thing is just out there we practice inside, so that's the biggest difference that jumps off. But just the details and just everybody wanting to be super crisp with everything and being on top of everything.
Coach is a big fan of being up here, getting away.
Yeah.
Dorm life, bonding. Does it fit you? Or?
Yeah, no, it definitely takes you back to college. It's an adjustment, but it makes you grateful. And like you said, just getting to bond with your teammates. Like, it's nothing like the locker room, I think. So, when you first get here, it's a shock, but it's been great.
You ever put out an SOS for like, oh man, I need another pillow? Or...
I did go get another pillow. I did.
How much pride do you take in pass protection? How would you describe yourself in all that?
I take a lot of pride. I think that's just where I found my niche in the league. So to stay on top of that and, to be able to protect somebody like Pat, that's a big deal. So I take a lot of pride in that.
What do you like most about this playbook that you're getting introduced to that accentuates your strengths that you can use on the field?
Just to be able to be used in so many different ways. It'll be fun to see all of us in the running back room just, running, catching the ball, pass pro, everything. So just how many different ways they can use this.
All right, so that's Amari DiMercato speaking to the media after practice today. We'll also hear from Harrison Butker at some point in the noon hour. We'll play what he has to say for the veteran kicker. But we're excited to have Noah Gray stop by here after practice. And don't forget, our player interviews are presented by the St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. Plan your trip now at stjomo.com. That's stjomo.com. Noah, good to have you back on the show. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we had you here on the show from camp. But today we were just saying, it feels like you tell if you think we're wrong, that maybe your best day at camp so far.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think guys were coming out here working hard. It was the longest day so far, so it was good. We got the pads on. Guys are just, staying the course. They're paying attention in meetings, and they're taking out in the field. So it's really a credit to everybody that shows out here and just continues to work hard. I feed off that energy from when my teammates are doing that, Is
this the first practice where you kind of really feel it? It's, 3 straight days of pads. You mentioned it's the longest one. Is it now do you feel like you're really in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been like that. I feel like since the start you have to have the mindset that you are in it, and you can't let it just surprise you or just show up in the middle of training camp. You just got to, buckle up, hunker down, and just work hard, because every day is going to present its own challenges. So when you show up to training camp, you just have that mindset that you are in this, you are working hard, and you're working for each other.
Do you guys, do you guys have like a pool for most training camp touchdowns? Is there a long-standing bet amongst you guys for whoever gets in the end zone the most?
Man, I don't even think about it. All I think about is coming out here and working for my teammates, doing my job because it helps the guy next to me, and I know he's got the same mentality because he's helping me out. So, it was a great day today, but we're going to keep this thing moving. We got meetings this afternoon, and we're just going to keep rolling.
I know you guys have obviously talked about Patrick Mahomes working this hard to come back from the injury can motivate. What about seeing Travis? How much are you still learning from him? You guys have worked together for years now, but for a veteran like that, what are you still learning from Travis?
Oh, every day. There's always something new that he brings to the table, whether that's something that he's doing in his routes, blocking-wise. The dude's been doing it for as long as anybody has. He's the greatest of all time at what he does. So when a guy like that steps on the field, and he could be doing anything else, but he's here right now and he's working alongside us. So it gives you motivation to up your game, to work harder, and there's just so much that you can learn from him. I'm just so grateful that I'm privileged to be on the same field as him, to pick his brain, to watch him continue to make great plays, because that's just the type of player and dude he is.
We're talking to Noah Gray here on 96.5 The Fan. How do you think he looks, though? Because there was some weird social media stuff. People are using like AI, saying he's out of shape and all that. We've all watched him here. He's obviously
looks great.
Yeah.
Kels is the man. He's great. He's rolling. Dude's in the best shape of his life. He's a phenomenal football player. He always will be. So he's doing great.
Did you get out on the dance floor a little bit at the wedding?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Well, we heard it was like early. I think it was Xavier Worthy said he wasn't able to make it, so we were like, it doesn't feel like an invitation. A lot of the guys turned down. I didn't know if the dates conflicted for you. You were out there though, right?
Yeah, I'm not really gonna speak on it.
No, just
right
like
now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I love Kels. I love Taylor. They're awesome people. So shout out to them, and we're just so grateful they're married and spending the rest of their lives together.
One of the things we've noticed here, Noah, at camp is you guys are under a center a lot more maybe than we typically see. As a tight end, what does that mean for you? What could that change for you?
It doesn't change anything. I think the mindset and the goal and what we do and what we're asked to do from our coaches within our routes, run blocking, that's just what we got to do. And whatever they ask the quarterbacks to do, they just have the same mindset. That's what they got to do. So it doesn't affect or change anything, I believe, from my perspective or what my job is. But we're just going to go out there, put my hand in the dirt, and keep this thing rolling.
What do you think was the difference between 2 years ago and last year for you? And I guess, how do you view like how last year went for you or what you're trying to accomplish this season? How do you view the last couple of years of your career?
You obviously learn from your past, but I don't stay in it. And I think I just have to be present. I think all these guys have to be present. Whatever happened last year, we're going to always learn from it, but we can't think about it too much. We can't continue to dwell on it. So we're just going to keep motivated right now for this 2026 season. We got some preseason games coming up. We got tomorrow's practice, so we got to be grounded where we are, and we're just going to keep it day by day, learn from the past, but just keep this thing moving, keep our heads down, stay humble, and keep working hard.
I know you got young kids. Is that eat up most of your off season? Did you get into anything else? How'd you spend your time away?
Yeah, spend it with the family. I think the blessing of being an NFL football player is you work hard and there's a lot that you sacrifice in season, but the off season you do have time to get away and spend it with your family. I just encourage everybody, when they're not working, to be with your kids, be with your wife, spend the time to love them, to go do things with them, because it means a lot. And when you get out here in training camp, it's just like you miss them so much. But when you cherish those moments in the off season, you're able to go do things, go to the pool, go to the aquarium, whatever it is, just go love your family, man. Whatever it is that you do, if you're in finance, if you're a musician, go love your family, because they're the best. And my two little girls are amazing, and I thank Jesus every day that I'm fortunate enough to go home to them.
We're talking to Noah Gray here on 96.5 The Fan. We saw yesterday, I think it was like Legends Day maybe. You guys, I saw Sharkandrick West was out here. Of course, there's some of the fellowship coaches. Tyrann Mathieu's been out here. What's it like to see some of the former Chiefs? Dwayne Bowe, I think, was here. What's that like for you?
It's really cool. Yeah, I think those guys are a huge part of our history here. They're a big reason why I'm standing here today. They paved the way. Those guys made Chiefs football fun, and it's a huge reason why I'm here today. So to see those guys come back, some guys that I was fortunate enough to play with, other guys who I watched growing up, who I had on my fantasy team, Debo, it's cool to see, and they love this area. They love the people here, the fans here, and they love Chiefs football. So it's really awesome to be able to get out here, connect with them. So it's great.
When do you think the transition was from, I always think of a professional athlete, maybe you didn't grow up watching the Chiefs. What's the transition like from childhood team to now this is the team I play for? College? High school? When does the transition start where you don't have that same connection to the childhood team and you're a Chief now?
I think it probably started when I was going through my draft process, just coming to the understanding that whoever picked me it's going to be a blessing, and when I came here to Kansas City, you're working for Kansas City, that you're playing for Kansas City. It's something way bigger than yourself, So I grew up in Massachusetts, so obviously I was a huge Patriots, Boston sports fan.
Pretty good time to grow up a Boston fan.
It was awesome. It was great, But I've been here in Kansas City for 6 years, and the day that I got drafted here, like nothing else mattered. It was like I'm a Kansas City Chief, and this is what we're rolling with.
You still a Red Sox fan, or were you ever?
I always root for them, and I just feel like my time is a little busy to watch other sports. But I'm a Sox fan, I'm a Bruins fan, Celtics fan, so it's great.
Was it weird meeting, I guess, a particular Patriots player? Did you was there a guy you're like, oh, I remember watching you?
I don't even remember if I haven't met any other Patriots players, but I played against Tom Brady in Tampa 4 years ago, so that was pretty cool, being on field and playing against a guy that you grew up watching.
Before we let you go, our friends over at the Art of Sports gave us some Topps Chrome football packs. We've been opening some up with every player, so let's see if we...
it's only 4 cards.
Have you ever ripped any cards before?
Yeah, someone had me do it. Sorry, I got gloves on, so let's see if I can.
We'll at least get the packs open for us.
We're
looking for an auto still. At some point during camp, we're supposed to get one. We haven't got one yet. So our best card has been a numbered Joe Burrow, so we're looking for something better.
See if we get a
Jalen Hurts number.
Miller. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts at a 99.
Right here.
I'm going to get you out of here. All right,
so we're looking for a signature?
Yeah, we haven't got an auto yet. We're still waiting. We've only had one Chiefs player so far, too. Brashard
Hunter
Smith.
Henry. Oh, this is what I'm talking about here. You got Jamar Chase. You got Chris Godwin. We're right here, baby. Tight end you, baby. Let's go.
There you go.
All right, boys.
Hey, Noah, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, hey, I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, you guys take care, all right?
If you don't mind, we have your teammates, though. This is for charity. Just everybody else signing this football helmet, if you don't mind. Thanks, man. Of course, our player interviews are presented by the St. Joseph Convention and Visitors Bureau. Plan your trip now at stjomo.com. That's stjomo.com. Good to have Noah Gray join us here after practice as we continue broadcasting live from St. Joe. We'll react a little bit to what Noah had to say. Also hear from Harrison Butker coming up next year on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
The best football contests are back out in Las Vegas with Circa Sports. $30 million in guaranteed prizes, no rake in any of the 3 contests. Circa Million, 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Or Circa Survivor, you pick one winner each week, the last one standing wins. And Circa Grandissimo with $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. Visit circusports.com for details.
Electrical service shouldn't be a hassle. That's why KC calls on KB Complete for all their electrical needs. For over 30 years, whether it's lighting, electrical panels, generators, or more, no job is too big or too small. From start to KB Complete, we believe in honest work, real results, and the kind of care that makes a difference. Call KB Complete at 913-730-5111 or visit kbcomplete.com today.
Your job's not done until it's KB Complete.
Red Eddie.
Football season is just around the corner, and just like your favorite team, you've got to fuel up to perform. At Break Time, we've got your training camp essentials, ice-cold drinks, protein-packed snacks, and all your game day favorites. Whether you're hitting the field or cheering from the sidelines, teamwork starts with the right fuel.
Let's go! One team, one goal!
Swing by Break Time, your home team for snacks, drinks, and everything in between. Download our mobile app and find a location near you. We're proud to be Missouri made.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery. Cody and Gold are live from the practice field at Chiefs training camp this summer on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
With Noah Gray. Our training camp coverage is presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Nate Taylor joining us here after practice, as he has each and every day. Of course, Nate Taylor from ESPN. We just had Noah Gray on, and he of course didn't want to talk too much about it, but we said, hey, it looked like you had your best day of practice. He had a really nice day.
This was definitely his best individual day. Getting plenty of targets from Mahomes, doing really well in the red zone periods, both 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. So no, he's trending in the right direction. This was the first day, fellas, where we saw, all right, pass pro, one-on-one drills between safeties, linebackers, and tight ends. And so yeah, he looks as well as he can. And I know he's a veteran now, to where you got to find your rhythm as we get deeper and deeper into training camp.
But he's coming off a bad year.
Yes.
A bad year.
Yeah.
As in they signed him thinking, maybe we got one of those tight ends that's the 17th best in the NFL. And if you pair that up with the other guy who's the 22nd, you have a room when Travis is gone. And instead, he made me doubt if they had anyone for the future of the tight end room. What do you actually think happened for him? What went wrong for Noah Gray?
He was not effective as a blocker. He was not someone who you could say, okay, when we're on the field, he can give us a two-way production-wise as a secondary receiving option and as a quality pass blocker. You're asking Travis Kelce to do that less, obviously, as he gets older and older in his career. So you need that number 2 tight end to be someone who can really make a difference in the run game. Now, we all know the issues with the running backs last year, but they didn't really have good production from a blocking standpoint from the tight end. So if he can get better about being just, decent at blocking and still be someone who Mahomes trusts when he does leak out, when he is available in space, when the defense is, giving attention elsewhere, then, hey, he can be back to the player he was in, like, that 2022, 2023 period. He had some drops earlier in training camp, so he's cut that down. And, again, he did well against, now one of the things I have to say is, as much as I love the Jack Cochrans and the Cooper McDonalds, like, we didn't have Drew Tranquill today. Nope. So Drew Tranquill would have been the best one-on-one he would have seen in terms of, like, hey, this guy's coming through the C gap. You need to protect the quarterback for 2.5 seconds. But of the guys that were available to do the drill, he did well.
Jake Brenningstool, it's a name that maybe a year ago people heading into camp were excited about. Then he got hurt.
Yes.
Then kind of lost in the shuffle. Andy was asked about him today. What's his standing right now Is he got a chance to do anything for this team?
He's got a chance. There's a chance. I think Jared Wiley's done enough so far for me to feel confident that he's going to be on the roster. So you kind of know, okay, at a bare minimum, they'll have 3 tight ends. If you want a 4th, depending on what you want to do at running back or at receiver, it's time for Jake Brenningstool to have some moments in the preseason because he's got the talent. The Chiefs have put out videos of him making, nice seam ball catches. He has the ability to be athletic, to go up and go get the ball. He's getting more reps with Patrick Mahomes, so that's a good sign too. Now you just got to do it, with Justin Fields against the Rams, a couple, weekends from now in the preseason because what we have him in NFL live game action. So I think there's a chance. I think he's ahead of Trey Watson right now just because of the physical tools and the fact that he's starting to climb the depth chart just a little bit. But, man, if he has a good first couple preseason games, he will make the decision that much more difficult for the coaching staff.
We asked this question at the start of the show. If you were right now, what would you say is the biggest concern for the team?
Of the roster?
Yeah, mine is they don't have any wide receiver depth because they got tested immediately when Xavier Worthy and Cyrus Allen were available, and I didn't like it anymore.
Right.
Is it something else for you?
That's tough.
Should I be more worried that an undrafted free agent right tackle might start the season?
I need to see him in the preseason, too, to get a better feel of, like, what is this, right? It's still an amazing story. We have still yet to chat with Khalil Benson. Are we going to have to wait till after the preseason game?
I'd love to have him on the show. I don't know.
I mean, come on. He is the Camp Island love darling.
New bombshell.
New bombshell. I mean, what a video. What a video. Great work by you as the videographer for that, Cody. I would probably say receiver because, again, can you give me supreme confidence that Xavier Worthy is going to be out there for 17 games? Same with Rashee Rice. Can Tyquan Thornton take a step? We had so much hope in Cyrus Allen, and we will see him probably next week.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, there's no need to rush him. If you want to let the swelling in that shin go back to normal and obviously give him some days to just, get his lower body ready to go back to getting in football shape. That was something that was interesting today is that we saw the most reps possible of Rashee Rice. And, but you don't look in football shape at all.
And when you have off-season knee surgery, I mean, that is kind of supposed to be the case. I spent 30 days in jail.
You had jail time. There was a moment in the
They didn't give him a single extra day off either. They made him spend the whole 30.
Yep. And so there was a moment, ladies and gentlemen, where Rashee Rice was like, okay, all right, another rep. And he came out the sideline, and a guy's gasp, and he's like, I got to get on this knee, and I got to take all the wind I can get, guys. Don't even come near me, training staff. Just give me some air. So it was cool to see the coaching staff be like, okay, it's August 5th. You ready? More
you got
reps.
A month.
More reps. You got a month, my friend. So this is where the baseline is. He did run, more sophisticated routes. He did catch more passes from Mahomes today. This is the most quote unquote receptions he's had in training camp. But yeah, I'm still worried about the receiving room because, there's so many question marks that I think that is what would concern me most ahead of Week 1.
We got Nate Taylor from ESPN hanging out with us after practice today in St. Joe. We also heard Jeffrey Bassa dealing with, groin strain.
Mm-hmm.
This is a linebacking unit. We know about Bolton Tranquil, who's dealing with back spasms himself.
Also called getting old.
Yeah, 3 days in a row of practice.
Back's flaring up.
He'll be all.
He's fine.
He'll be all right. But we know Leo Chenal.
Day off.
Yes, exactly.
We know Leo is in Washington now with the Commanders, and so McDonald, Bassa, the other linebacking spot. This is I'm hoping this groin strain is something pretty minor for them.
Right.
We don't know yet, I guess, fully for Bassa, but they don't really have great depth there, do they?
It's Jack Cochran got active today.
Yeah.
Jack Cochran said, "Oh, we thumping today? I'll thump. I'll take all of Drew Tranquil's reps." I mean,
linebackers probably love contact day.
Yeah. Like he can't wait for next week when Andy lets him really tackle to the ground, because that's the last step to get guys ready that are young rookies, undrafted, bottom of the depth chart. We got to get you ready to get tackled or to tackle for the opening preseason game, because you guys are going to take most of the snaps, of course. I think Jack Cochran's your best bet right now. Cooper McDonald's interesting. We'll see what he does in the preseason. He actually said that there was no pressure on him in the preseason last year because he was such an undrafted rookie. And now, because he made the team last year, because he played legitimate snaps, hey, you're actually supposed to show legitimate growth between year 1 to year 2. So there'll be real pressure on him, I think, in the preseason. But I would love to see Jeffrey Bassa just play a ton of snaps in the preseason, so you don't want this groin to really flare up too much. Again, we saw a little bit of L'Jarius Sneed. We still, who knows when we're going to see Mansour Delane in pads. There's so many guys who have these, nagging niggles in terms of injuries that I'm starting to get worried. Can the coaching staff get the proper evaluation that they want in the preseason?
I just wonder, going back, and I don't think they're going to be able to.
It's not the same. It's weird look that way
because it's not the same veteran group. If this was any of the previous 3 years, I'd be like, okay, so what? What do I care? But they've got more roster changes than they've had in a long time. They're trying out a new, I think, not fully new offensive scheme, but a variation of the scheme that they've been running.
Yep.
They haven't all been together at the same time, and it's so weird because I think the season ended so poorly. I don't want to make it seem like the Chiefs were just this year's was. It all just fell apart. I think Sheil Kapati had put up the stat, maybe we'll talk about tomorrow, which was when Patrick Mahomes was on the field last year, they were the 4th best EPA per play team in the NFL.
Crazy.
They moved the football despite a lot of issues.
Yes.
And so I don't think that they're just I don't think they're starting from scratch, I guess is what I'm saying,
right.
Nate. I don't want to make it seem like the Chiefs are starting from scratch, but I wouldn't hate that this group had a little time together.
And they should, so that you can go full speed against the different Broncos. Again, that game matters much like last year mattered in Sao Paulo against the Chargers. The Chargers were an up-and-coming team. The Broncos this year are the reigning division champions. So you can't really have a slow start. No. And the easiest way to, smooth some of that roughness, some of that rust, some of that timing and chemistry is, playing together. And not just in a preseason game, but, out here. If people are wondering, it's August 5th, and we have yet to see a rep with Patrick Mahomes' 5 best skill position players. That being, of course, Kenneth Walker, Travis Kelce,
that's crazy.
And the trio of Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, and Rashee Rice. That is yet to happen. So you don't.
Maybe Thursday? Friday? When's Allen coming back?
He said next week.
Maybe next week. Yeah,
okay,
next week would be, I think, sensible because I'll be back in pads again. And
is tomorrow no pads?
Tomorrow should be no pads.
Yeah.
I think the league says you can only do it 3 straight days.
I like that Andy does it that way. Not every coach does. Sometimes you pad, no pad.
No,
Andy's
exactly.
No,
sometimes you
go,
go,
worst.
Yeah, off and on, but I'm really gonna push you and make you mentally. We were talking.
Well, you asked Andy about the GoPro, and he that was his way of saying.
I'm a GoPro.
That was his way of saying I'm not doing this GoPro nonsense. I saw the Jets and a bunch of teams have their quarterbacks with GoPros on.
He said I got eyes.
I was requested by the network that employs me to ask this man this question. I really got to get.
I didn't know if Nate was sponsored by GoPro.
I got to get
This question brought to you by.
I think I need a Saturday Night Live cue card so I can just raise it over my head and be like, this question is brought to you by the editors at ESPN.com.
Do they use VR? Do they use it the way they don't use any of that?
No.
Andy just stands behind Patrick Mahomes. He's like, you looked at that wrong.
Yeah, exactly. What was
an old school scout?
What was going through your mind, son? Yeah, he there's sometimes where he tells Justin Fields, no. it's just so no.
I guess the part is the GoPro thing. It's not like it can hurt, but But at the same time, unless like with Patrick Mahomes, we have tape. I can see where he turns his head. I can see what
It's
he
just
did.
a
He
new
also
school, old school thing.
He can also use his words and tell me who he looked at.
And this man said, I've been to how many Super Bowls? We don't need GoPros. So it's funny. I knew the answer before I even asked the question. And so he looked at me like, what? Okay, well, here's a joke. Here's for you, sir. Here, no. But, yeah, it's been fun to know that, like, he's going to push guys. But I think traditionally they should probably, hey, next week, and this is legitimate from the coaching staff, next week is a game week. So come on, y'all. Like, get out of the training room. Let's get on the practice field. Let's actually see it, the way it's intended before we play a preseason game.
I know we probably do need to wait till a preseason game happens to diagnose this a little bit more, but we were talking about Brashard Smith earlier. His role, returner, what does his role possibly look like? If he makes the team, it's going to be because they think he can be a returner, right?
Right, and because he can at least be someone who's been in the system for 2 years. And Andy Reid told us, look, I know what he can do with the ball in his hands. The issue is route running and pass protection. He got taught a few lessons in pass pro today, one-on-one. Like, there's been moments in the team 11-on-11 periods where it's like Andy says, nope, you're supposed to be there, not there. Justin Fields would have been sent to the hospital, son. Mm-hmm. You cannot do that. So I think Brashard Smith's really got to work on the things that are required when he doesn't have the football, when it's not just a traditional, hey, we hand you the ball and we see what you can do, because we know he's talented and we know he can make people miss. Special teams is where he can make maybe the biggest leap, because as of right now, based on what we've seen so far, the projected starters at kickoff return are him and Nico Remigio.
How are they going back to Remigio, though?
Remigio's a
There's
lot.
no juice, though.
Nah, man.
There's no juice.
Remigio's
they just
a lot.
trust him? Is that what it is?
He's a professional.
He's just not going to screw it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, but he's not going to take it back either.
Well, that's why the Cyrus Allen injury is kind of a big deal, because Dave Tobe, while also putting him at gunner, wanted to see what he was going to do as a returner. Yeah. And, of course, of juice, well, clearly this guy has something, right, in terms of, can you translate some of that route running that gets you open to, evading maybe the first guy in the wave of a kickoff or a punt returner. So who knows? Hopefully Cyrus Allen's back next week. Hopefully they give him a lot of reps at returner, not at gunner, to see if he can push Brashard Smith, or he can push Nico Remigio to be that guy in the back that you feel comfortable with to make a play for you in special teams. As we know, their special teams was so bad last year.
The worst unit on the field.
That they had no explosiveness. They had Tyquan Thornton do it a couple times, and he would have a good return, and then Jack Cochran or Cooper McDonald would hold, and so you just got no benefit of like the third phase of the game. They need to have that guy be special, and for Brashard Smith, the easiest way for you to get on the roster is, hey man, have a couple highlights on special teams in the preseason to just make Dave Tobe comfortable with, hey, we can put you back there and you can give us the ball at like the 40-yard line. We don't have to necessarily work for it from the 30 if the team wants to short kick us and try to pin us back.
You guys have talked to Tobe a couple of times. We saw him riding his bike like normal up at training camp yesterday as we were getting ready to leave. Has he acknowledged how bad last year went? Like, just flat out, because he got to wear a lot of it, because I don't care if it's scheme or what. Like, it was a bad year. It was kicking, punting, all of it.
It's
returns.
I don't know this for sure. I don't know if I'd have to do it through like DVOA or other metrics, but by the common eyes that we have, that was probably the worst of his tenure with the Chiefs.
I would think so. And look, he didn't. I know he put some of it on Butker.
Yeah,
he should have just said Butker's got to make more kicks.
Correct.
So I know that, but.
And, that's why you lost some of those one-score games, is because you were trailing behind in a way that you weren't used to, because the kicker didn't give you in a position to, like, a go-ahead game-winning field goal, instead of, like, we really need you to make this field goal to keep it, close, or to keep us in contact with the opponent. He has moved on, Cody. You asked this man about last year, he will absolutely pivot to this year. Like,
it's done.
It's done.
Best coaches do.
Yeah.
Wash it away.
So, he's under pressure. I do want to make that clear. Like, we saw what happened with the receivers coach and the running back coach last year. There was changeover. This is a pivotal year for Harrison Butker. He needs to have a way better start than he had a year ago. And Dave Tobe needs to get 2 or 3 guys to actually demonstrate, I am bringing value to the club on special teams, because I've been well coached to do that.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair. And look, the heat should be on him at least a little bit. The job goes south a couple years. And look, the Butker one, that's what's funny. Nobody can make the kick but Butker. So, that's the one unit I will just let go.
Right.
What are you supposed to do other than motivate him?
Other than
to
say,
be better,
hey, man, you got it, dog. Find it. Whatever it is, find it. But, we can't kick the ball more than we're kicking the ball.
But I thought all of last year, and this is what, when Butker was talking today, we haven't played back the parts he had said, but Butker last year, I will give Dave Job this. Maybe halfway through the year, maybe a quarter way through the year. If it was 4th and 2, and it was a 53-yarder, that was a kick. 99.9% of the time for the first 6 years under Harrison Butker.
Yep.
Last year, that was a go.
Yep.
And they weren't messing around anymore. Those short yardage, they started to actually attempt those.
Yes.
They took it out of Butker's legs.
Well, he acknowledges the mental side of it.
Yeah. And he talked about that a little bit ago here in the 10 with us, saying that I need to be ready to go when it's my time. I can't just say, I need so many kicks into the net. I need so many kicks in warm-ups, and I need to feel good about myself. No. If there's a sudden change, we get the ball on a turnover, we're in field goal range, and I got to make a kick, I got to be ready to go. And again, that sounds way more mental than technical or physical at this point. And look, that happens to kickers as they age because you can't necessarily rely on, hey, I'm just so happy to be here. My legs just so loose. I'm just crushing the ball.
You're not thinking about it.
Yeah, you're just a young guy, But now because you've had all those experiences, finding that edge might be difficult, and we've seen it with kickers in the past where a little bit of slippage can be really detrimental to you, or it can force you, hopefully in Harrison's case, to sort of refocus yourself and get yourself back on track to what you were, previously in your career. He's got a Hall of Fame resume, honestly, but he's got to keep going to ensure himself that he has sort of the tenure of an Adam Vinatieri, I have to say his name, but the guy that used to kick for the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe I don't have to say his name. Justin Tucker, who was very good statistically.
Nate Taylor from ESPN. Always appreciate him joining us after practice. Up next, we'll go over a little bit with the Royals with Josh Vernier, and then we will hear some from Harrison Butker in the 1 o'clock hour. But let's talk to Vern next here on 96.5 The Fan.
I'm a versatile GoPro.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Kansas City storms can leave behind roof damage you can't always see. Hail and high winds may have compromised your roof, even if everything looks fine from the ground. That's why Century Roofing offers a free roof inspection and handles the insurance process from start to finish. For over 36 years and more than 36,000 roofs installed, homeowners have trusted Century Roofing. Voted best roofing company in Johnson County for 5 years straight and best in Kansas City 2 years in a row. KC-based and female-owned. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Skechers elite athlete OG Anunoby has been making history on the basketball court.
Anunoby tips it in. Unbelievable. What a shot.
He's been balling out in Skechers high-performance basketball sneakers, and the world is noticed. But how does OG train off the court to keep in peak physical condition? Hands-free Skechers Slip-ins AeroBurst. They help prepare OG for the physical demands of playing at a championship level. Get your pair of AeroBurst for only $165 at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever high-performance running shoes are sold.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Thanks again to Nate Taylor for joining us as he does each and every day after practice. We're back up here tomorrow as well, and our camp coverage is presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Let's talk a little Royals baseball, and we'll get back into some Chiefs football. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, joins us on the Golden Oak Lending phone line. Vern, we obviously had J.J. Piccolo on the show yesterday, and then hours later we would learn that Luinder Avila and Stephen Kolek also now are going to undergo Tommy John surgery. Clearly they had to have known that before the trade deadline, I would think, which is that more reason why you believe they ended up holding on to Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo?
No. The Kolek news wasn't surprising. We had figured that for the past week and a half. The Avila news, to me, is the crusher for the 2027 season. I think they hung on to Seth Lugo because there really weren't many offers. I think they hung on to Michael Wacha because, they'll tell you that they still believe they're going. I mean, he told you yesterday. They still think they can win next year. I don't see how it's possible. But even with that, even though I don't believe they can win in 27, there's no reason why they can't win by 2028. And unless you give me something in return for Michael Wacha that I know is going to be a part of that 2028 team, man, I'll roll the dice and bank that Waka's going to be a part of that 2028 team. So I'm not going to say that I agree with how this front office is thinking right now. And maybe I don't agree with the way that they allowed baseball to believe that it was going to be so difficult to pry Waka out of this organization. I'm not going to sit here and say that they completely, blanked up the trade deadline because Lugo and Waka are still here. I really don't think Lugo's all that attractive. He's a below league average starting pitcher that's due about $50 million over the next 2 years. So that's unless you're just trying to dump money, and I'm not John Sherman, so I'm not trying to get rid of any contracts. You need Lugo to help get you through 2027 because I don't know how they're going to get through next year pitching-wise.
Yeah, no, I agree with you about next year. I was talking to Cody about this earlier. I think if I tell you also that a team that is contending to win the Central or be a playoff team in 2027, are they really anchored by Seth Lugo and Michael Waka? And I know Waka was great this year. That's not a knock on him, but I don't know if we can expect that type of performance again in 2027, a year older.
Even this, what you called great Michael Waka, on a playoff team, maybe I give him the ball in Game 3. Right?
Yeah,
if we're talking about if we're talking about a legitimate pennant contender, we're talking about Michael Waka as that team's number 3. And as I look ahead to 2027 or even 2028, no, you know what? Let's just talk about 27 because if you want to continue, like the Royals are saying, continue to tell me that you're good enough to compete next year and you guys believe you're a playoff contender, okay. Well, then Waka could be your 3, and I'm fine with that. Lugo at your number 4, eating up 170 innings, being slightly below league average, I can handle that. Noah Cameron is your number 5, that's fine. But you don't have a 1, a 2, or a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, there's nobody in Omaha either. So you need to rebuild 2 rotations and really 2 bullpens, right? The big league bullpen and the AAA bullpen. So, I was talking it through last night on the postgame show. I think they need 9 to 11 pitchers to contribute next season. 9 to 11 need to be added by the time we get to opening day of 2027. 2 of them need to be as good as Michael Waka, and 3 of them need to pitch high leverage in the bullpen. How in the hell is that going to happen?
I mean, unless you're willing to trade away from a now recently hot Blake Mitchell or some other prospects in the system, I think you have to make a move that hurts. It's been a while, Vern. It's been a long time since they traded away someone that hurt. And, in my opinion, especially because Carter Jensen is the goods, what the hell are you waiting on, yet another catcher to come through your system? Another top 15 prospect of theirs is a catcher. And if he is white hot right now...
the way you're talking about him, though, it doesn't sound like it would hurt.
No, well, in fairness, it'll hurt just because teams hate giving up, supremely talented guys.
Right,
They just don't like, especially, in A-ball, where, the world is at a valuable position like catcher. But if they
do that, and I'm with you, trade Blake Mitchell, maybe one of those teenage pitchers. I mean, it's crazy to say, but if they're really believing that they can put a winner on the field for 2027, they need to nail that, right? They need to go find another Cy Young Award candidate like a Seth Lugo in 2024. They need to nail free agency and probably have to do it quickly in November. And then, find a diamond in the rough on the waiver wire and then hit a few home runs when it comes to spring training bullpen signings. It's fine. Trade Vinny, trade Blake Mitchell. You can trade Ramon Ramirez, Michael Garcia. I still don't know if that brings you enough to put together the type of pitching staff that you're going to need to compete with certainly Cleveland, and you would think Chicago, Detroit. This division is always kind of up for grabs, but that the Guardians are going to be able to pitch.
I always look at it, too, and it's and I totally agree with the sentiment there. I guess that's why I'm hoping all these guys they traded for are just in the bullpen immediately. I understand they're getting their feet wet or whatever in AAA, but you might as well find out the multiple free agent arms in the bullpen that you traded for. Find out if they've got the goods. I don't even know. They traded for another AAA guy today, didn't they? So
Who knows?
Jacob, who was? They traded for.
It doesn't. You can make up the name, Cody. It doesn't matter.
The Hoffman or whatever.
Jacob Berry from the Marlins. He was the 6th overall pick in 2022. He slashed 245, 325, 377 across 469 minor league games.
Right, and you need to hit on a few of these, right? You look at what Milwaukee and Tampa have done over the last half decade to 10 years, and when pitchers go to Tampa, go to Milwaukee, they improve. Now we've seen that here as well, right? Cole Reagan's as good as ever. Michael Wacha was even improved, right? He's acknowledged that this pitching department has helped him add that slider in 2024. They have shown the ability to draft and develop. Chris Bubich was an all-star under the tutelage of, yes, Chris Bubich, but the pitching department certainly has helped. So while I poo-poo all of these Easton McGee's and the rest of the cats that they're bringing in over the past few weeks, I'm also going to try and keep my mouth shut, and let's see if this pitching department is what it needs to be if they're going to be a consistent winner in Kansas City. And what it needs to be is something akin to Milwaukee and Tampa, where you come here, we make you better, and then we trade you before you nosedive. And I understand that's where some of the concern comes up with the lack of movement when it comes to Michael Wacha and Daniel Lynch at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Do I have to consider Randy Dobnak is a real contender for the rotation next year?
Who knows? I was thinking last night, can Randy Dobnak backdoor the Royals pitcher of the year?
Oh, God.
No, Michael Wacha's. It's Wacha.
Yeah,
Wacha was robbed of it last year. It's Wacha's this year. But the point...
He might be runner-up.
Okay, then that is the convo, right? The fact that Randy Dobnak could... Yeah. I mean, there's just nothing negative you can... The guy has delivered everything and more. But with all due respect, let's hope not. Well, I don't know. I have no idea how this team thinks they're going to build a pitching staff by opening day of 2027. And you know what? Maybe Cinderella here with Randy Dobnak never turns back into a pumpkin and ride this thing all the way into 27.
I guess that's kind of like, it's just funny I mentioned him because like you were talking about, like, you just got to be one of these guys who goes to Cleveland and for no reason you're just way better. Like there's no reason for Dobnak to be this good at any stage. I mean, maybe when he was a prospect he wasn't looked at like this. And yet, as a Royal, he's given up 2 earned runs somehow in like 30-plus innings pitched. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm hesitant to. You're right. For as much as I say, I want the pitching department to make guys better. I struggle to say that's what's going on with Randy. Right? He was in Seattle. I don't. To me, this is. They're all talented, right? We talk about it all the time, and I always bring it up when I see the news last week. MJ Melendez DFA'd. You don't get to the big leagues if you lack talent. I've seen MJ Melendez put together some of the, a month of baseball where you're like, oh my God, this dude's going to hit 30 home runs consistently. Randy Dobnak, of course, this guy has the ability to put together a solid month of baseball. But are we still talking about him at the end of September? I would bet no.
Josh Vernier, the Royals Insider of the Year, Royals Insider of July. He joins us every single Wednesday here on the show.
Tyler Colbert was the player of the month.
I know. How about that?
Randy Dobnak, and look, it's not even a knock, but like, if you had told me Tolbert, Dobnak won Pitcher and Player of the Year in any month, I'd be like, well, that season didn't go great.
Cover of the media guide next year. Those two with Matt Quatrero handing them their Player of the Month award.
Stop.
It still made me feel good, Vern. It's small, but like watching Bobby Wood Jr. come back and he's still just great. So at least I know one thing about this team.
Oh,
Bobby Wood Jr. is great.
Oh, that was so pretty to watch. He's so graceful on the base pass, you forget. Yeah, it's a joy to watch him, and thank God he's in Kansas City.
There you go. Josh Vernier, our Royals Insider, out on the Golden Oak Lending phone line.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you, Drew, for hitting the button. We missed it last week. While we were talking to Vern, this is not like some huge item, but I think people will appreciate this. The Chiefs just sent out a press release, and, well, essentially they announced that they're removing GEHA Field branding. It's just going to be back to Arrowhead. Now, the email made it sound like it was a mutual thing. Who knows? I have no idea if, like, the partnership or whatever. They said they're continuing their partnership with GEHA. But long story short, not that we were really ever calling it GEHA Field, but it's not GEHA Field. It's just back to Arrowhead Stadium officially.
Conspiracy theory is that Andy cost him this by constantly missing the A. I don't know how many times in a press conference he said GE. Yeah, both of them would say GEH.
Chris Jones would say, like, yeehaw.
Yeah, he'd say yeehaw, and then Andy would say GEH. You're like, there's an A. Well, now, look, I never called it GEH, and we're never going to call it. And honestly, for the last 5 years of Kaufman and Arrowhead, let them stay pure. For the few years we got left with these things, get rid of the branding. Don't make me look at it or make just some, like, announcer say it as they're coming on the field. It was always Arrowhead, the same as it's always Sandstone or a million others. But to officially get it off, I got no complaints.
Yeah,
Good on you, Geehaw.
Yeah,
you know?
GEHA, if you want to know, like, how they officially phrased it, is just that Arrowhead Stadium branding beginning with the 2026 season is returning. GEHA remains a proud partner of the Chiefs. Together with the Chiefs, we made the decision to return the stadium to its iconic Arrowhead identity, honoring the legacy, tradition, and community pride it represents.
Did they not want to pay the check anymore?
Well, that's what
I got to be honest.
So I think this. So this is pure speculation. It sounds like this is a very nice way to transition from, hey, we didn't want to continue to renew our naming rights deal. But I have no idea. That's speculation.
It's not that crazy for speculation. Have you, in the history of business, ever heard a team that just ever heard of business just said, you know what? Out of the goodness of our heart, it should be Arrowhead again. We'll keep cutting you the check. We'd love to keep paying you, but you know what? We can't, in good conscience, continue to call it GEHA. My ass.
Yeah,
that's never happened.
They're still partners, but and it lists off different things, the programs that they're going to do and be involved with, which is great, including military base visits and all that. But yeah, my guess is they just didn't renew their naming rights for the field.
Well, or they had a 10-year deal.
Was it 10?
Yeah, it was long. So, like, my guess is,
when did it start?
They had years left in the deal, I guess is what I would say.
Okay.
And so, but sometimes these deals fall through, and maybe this was their way of being like, will you let us out if it make it seem like we're just letting you have Arrowhead back? And we'll have 5 years of Arrowhead. And I've already told you, they're going to call the new stadium New Arrowhead, or they're going to call it the Arrowhead Complex, and then there'll be a name attached to it, and we won't think that much about it. Arrowhead and the branding around will still be associated with the Chiefs when they eventually move on to their new stadium. And so, like, that to me is not surprising. It is weird, though. So I guess GEHA will come off now? They'll just pry the letters off?
You know what's interesting? So yesterday...
They were already off or covered for the World Cup.
They were covered for the World Cup because they had to be, but then I did see, and I apologize, it was truly just a random Twitter account popped up in my feed last night, and someone made the comment and said, Arrowhead's back, and it was the scoreboard, and it just said Arrowhead Stadium on the back and not GEHA anymore. And I was like, just like, well, maybe they just haven't, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just changing it or something, and now it makes sense. The GEHA is removed. They removed it for the World Cup, and it's never coming back on.
Well, I mean, in fairness, maybe they saw – again, I'd be very surprised if the Chiefs said, you know, we saw the stadium name without GEHA, and it just felt right again. So would you mind just stepping aside? I'm assuming GEHA didn't want to fund the check anymore, and this was a classy way of getting out of it. And that's fine. Look, it was always Arrowhead Stadium. I'm glad it's Arrowhead Stadium again. I'm glad to not even – like that the iconic image of Arrowhead Stadium will get to look normal, like the way I grew up with it, for the rest of the run, in my opinion. Because, like, why? Why sign another stadium partner now? Right out these 5 years of Arrowhead Stadium, the Royals shouldn't sign one either. Right out these 5 years of Kauffman Stadium, and you can slap whatever naming partner you want on the new one. No one's going to say anything. But let us have our last few moments. What's weird is, had they avoided this, like, 4-year partnership or whatever it ended up being with GEHA, had they avoided that, these have been two stadiums never with a sponsor on them, which would have been insane.
Now, in
the
fairness,
fact that Kaufman might get through its whole thing without a single sponsor on it's crazy.
Yeah, in fairness, though, it was never GEHA Stadium. It was always still Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
It was GEHA Field at Arrowhead.
I know, but they had a naming rights deal on the...
Sure, but it was never not called Arrowhead.
Sure. I know that. I just meant, like, it's the same, like, it did have a sponsor deal attached to it.
Sure.
And, like, there are very few that ever occur that way. The fact that Kaufman might get through its entire run, its entire 70-year existence, without a single, like, brand stuck on the side of it, it's crazy. It's crazy. And, look, I imagine they would have taken a check somewhere along the way, but then at some point the check wasn't big enough to justify it. And maybe this is the case that I think if you asked him now, if you could go back and just leave at Arrowhead through the end of the run, would you have? And the answer probably would have been yeah. Yeah. We probably shouldn't have stuck GEHA on the side.
I don't know what that check was looking like either.
Oh, fat.
I don't know what that check was looking like. So anyway, if you just joined us, the Chiefs and GEHA announced that they are removing the branding. It's just going to go back to Arrowhead Stadium, no longer GEHA Field. All right, let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show. Even on days we're up at camp, you can see our little mini figurines. But we still interact with the chats. We can still see your answers over there as well. If you're
you got on your professor suit today, Cody.
Oh, nice. Classed it up a little bit for the random question of the day. Today, the random question of the day is about what took place last night in the Ted Lasso premiere. What I want to know, I'll ask you the question, then I'll tell you kind of what took place is. Are you more inclined to watch a series that is associated with something that you know or like? Or if you've never watched Ted Lasso, are you more inclined to watch it now that they've been featured? In last night's, spoiler alert, debut for the Ted Lasso new Season 4, they go to a Casey Current match. They mention the American Jazz Museum. Someone's seen wearing a Monarchs jersey. They go to a they go to a Current match. That's a part of the plot line leading into it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So the question is for you is, anytime you see, The Last of Us got filmed partly in Kansas City. The Casey Current one are you more inclined to watch something if it involves Kansas City in any way? Is the question I have today.
1,000%. And I like Ted Lasso, although I'll admit I'm
you
behind.
Got caught into Ted Lasso late,
I need to get caught up. I'm behind again. But
there's only one episode.
Did you watch I'm behind from last season. I did not watch the last season. I'm behind.
Got it.
No, of course, yeah. And if it has ties to Kansas City, I'm definitely more interested. I also think Ted Lasso is a really good show. And heck, the Mumford and Sons concert on Sunday night, of course, they played
the intro for it.
And yeah,
that's probably why they were in town, honestly.
They were in Bonner Springs just 9 months ago too.
Okay,
I think they're just
felt like the timing right around the debut of the show.
Yeah, that would have been some interesting planning. I don't know if that was timed up, but either way, of course, if there's a KC tie-in, it's the same reason why we had fun with the Hallmark movie. Right, it was about the Chiefs. It was about Kansas City. So yeah, if you tell me that there is a song that somehow references Kansas City, or a movie or TV show that showcases our city, yeah, I'm more likely to give it a shot.
I think it's pretty cool that do you know how big of a deal it is for them to be featured on a nationally popular show, and instead of trying to create a women's team that's popular and has their own stadium to start, they're just look at here's a team. It makes me feel a little proud of Kansas City that they were featured because the first purpose-built stadium only for a women's professional soccer team is here. And look, some of it's because Sudeikis is also from here, so it certainly makes it easier to go down there. But the idea that they would do it is pretty cool. I am more inclined to watch stuff. If they started an HBO show and it was based in Kansas City, although I will say, I didn't watch Disclosure Day, and that's based in Kansas City, right?
I didn't watch that either.
So maybe I need to catch that one. That's the new Spielberg one, right? But I try to watch stuff if it's in and around the city.
That is random question of the day. Some NFL news while we were talking here. If you were still hoping for this player to sign in Kansas City, I guess, you can cross them off the list. Jordan Schultz reporting the Commanders are signing four-time Pro Bowler wide receiver Stephon Diggs, according to Jordan Schultz. That was rumored over the last couple days, but Diggs is going to sign with the Washington Commanders to join a wide receiver room that includes Terry McLaurin.
When does the next Brandon Ayuk video come out?
And yeah, Brandon Ayuk, buddy, nobody wants you. Yeah. Nobody wants you, Brandon Ayuk.
When does that one come out?
You can't go to the Commanders now. They're not signing you and Stephon Diggs. So Stephon Diggs off the list. That leaves Tyreek Hill, who's not healthy, and Brandon Ayuk, who's still on the roster in San Francisco.
Is Keenan Allen still there?
Keenan Allen's still a free agent.
Yeah.
And again, I just don't think, unless we find out one of these injuries is longer term or Worthy, has to have surgery again or something, I don't think the Chiefs are signing any of these known commodities at wide receiver.
I guess part of it is maybe because of the slight emergence of Cyrus Allen, but mostly because they haven't had any devastating ones. I didn't want anybody up at that rank with Diggs. If they were going to add a camp body, I wanted it to be someone lower on the depth chart, not getting in the way of the Rice, Worthy, Kelsey triumphant part of it. I wanted someone okay, you can add a wide receiver, that's fine to help the depth. I didn't need it to be someone of Stephon.
I was going to jump in to be the number 3 or
yeah,
number 2.
I would just wait till November and hope it's Tyreek if I'm going to
I would have been interested in Stephon Diggs. I like in the offseason plan. I don't think the Cyrus Allen injury is long term. Xavier Worthy, the only thing that could change my opinion on this is if you told me that, hey, the Xavier Worthy shoulder is a problem again, and he needs surgery again or something. And you don't want to deal with a whole season of him being limited. Now, Andy did say today the shoulder is progressing, so hopefully tomorrow there's no pads too. So my guess, I wonder if Worthy comes back tomorrow, Cody, when there's no pads. If not, we got to wait till next week because there's a non-padded practice tomorrow.
Yeah, and the next couple of days, I think, because you can only run it so many days in a row. I hope they're back early and then we don't have to worry about it. I would like to see Cyrus Allen and Xavier Worthy in a preseason game. Like Worthy, as much as I worry about the injuries, he needs reps. He didn't get as many reps or his practice reps or regular season reps as we would be used to last year. I just want them being comfortable and back at the same time again. And so, that part of it, I do think matters at least a little bit. And so I'd like it if they practice early next week so that they can be in the preseason game next Saturday night. Is that our first preseason game next Saturday already?
Well, the Hall of Fame game's tomorrow.
Are you watching?
I told you, I always have it on in the background. It just feels
good
to have.
Who are the quarterbacks starting tomorrow?
Carson Beck and Kenny Pickett. Rams, Chiefs, August 15th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah, so a week from Saturday. That's coming up close,
Then
man.
Chiefs, Bucks, August 22nd. That one's on the road. And then the last preseason game will be, I think we're out of town in Vegas, but it's Seahawks, Chiefs.
Last time, I'm not kidding, we were in Vegas, and because it's a preseason game, I thought, okay, we'll get a little bet in on the Chiefs preseason game. We're going to sit down in the sports book at Circa. It was on one tiny TV, and I was like, oh, yeah.
It was Chiefs-Bears, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was one tiny preseason game in a slew of a lot of other actual sports that were taking place. And in my head, I was like, oh, it'll be on the main screen. I'm not in Kansas City. We're going to just not have it on the big screen.
Next, guys, let's get to the 1 o'clock hour. Let's hear from Harrison Butker. Drew's got some camp questions. We'll do that right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm not kidding. The older you get, the more you pay attention to your health. I'm over 40. I started getting, regular doctor's appointments. Just get those annual checkups. Make sure things are okay. That's because 1 in 5 men who are over the age of 40 experience low testosterone. You're like, whoa, what do I feel like if I have it? Fairly obvious. Your workouts aren't the same. You don't have energy. You're falling asleep. Your sex drive isn't as good. All of those things can be a sign of low testosterone. So why would you just live like that? Why not find out for yourself over at the Low T Center? They'll give you a free T-test so you can find out for yourself and find out what those problems are. At Low T Center for the month of August, they're offering you a free T-test to find out and get that life back that you're used to. They've been servicing thousands of other people in the Kansas City area, and they can help you as well. So if you've been suffering through these problems, I don't know why you would. They'll let you use, you can go, it's a quick 20-minute visit. You can use the app if you're on, whatever you're comfortable with, they're set up to make sure that you're taken care of. Go to fixmylowt.com to book that appointment today. That's fixmylowt.com over at Low T Center.
You've pictured it. The garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 30th. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com. Overheaddoorkc.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
and Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening rounds all the way to the final. Last week, Spain was trading at 17% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade could pay out $572 if they win soccer's biggest prize. Want to know what they're at today? Check Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PITCH to get a $10 credit when you trade $10. Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only, must be present in state where it is legal to trade. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, value, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. $10 free credit with no expiration. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win Kansas City Chiefs scratch tickets, plus a chance for the grand prize Chiefs bundle, which includes a framed jersey and a signed photo. All thanks to our friends at the Kansas Lottery. Range Bait with Dusty Likens is now up on the Fan's YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter channels. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold live in St. Joe. Our training camp coverage presented by Break Time. Whether fueling up or grabbing a snack on the way to training camp, Break Time reminds you not all convenience stores are the same. Download their app and find a location near you. Coming up around 1:35, you'll hear our conversation we had earlier with Chiefs tight end Noah Gray. Drew's got some camp questions here in about 8 minutes or so, but I do want to hear from Harrison Butker. We talked to Nate Taylor about the special teams unit, of course, how bad it was as a whole last year, how Harrison Butker really struggled, and how it's a massive year for him. Depending on which way this year goes, it could be his final year in Kansas City. Here's a little bit of what Harrison Butker had to say after practice today.
Good question. So with kickers, it's really easy for us to just kick a bunch of footballs all the time, But in a game, what a kicker's asked to do is kind of be able to execute one kick every maybe 15, 20 minutes, right? Because you kick when the offense stalls their drive or after they score a touchdown, obviously you have the extra point. Then the defense goes out there for a whole drive and the offense is back out there and then boom, you got to go. So I think I've been trying to gain confidence of waiting 15, 20 minutes, and then got to have a field goal. It matters, kicking it with James and Matt, and then however well I do, that's the end result. So in the past, it's easy for practice. You kick a bunch of balls right before the field goal period, you kick great, and then you're kind of done for the rest of the day. But I'm trying to take advantage of these longer practices, treat it like a game, and do what I'm going to be asked to do in a game, which is just one kick every 20 minutes or so.
your mechanics, over the last 3-4 years, we've seen different,
right.
Whatever you were dealing with, and do you feel good about your mechanics?
I do. So last year, I wasn't dropping down onto that plant foot knee, but I was having to think about it a lot, especially during training camp, and now I don't have to focus on that, so I'm hoping I can focus on things that matter more, smooth swing thoughts. And I think that's been helpful for me to keep it simple and just focus on good ball contact instead of just really focusing in on not dropping down to that knee. I can focus on stuff that probably matters more.
Speaking about focusing, how much you kind of, the new kickoff rules, it's almost like a pitcher having to learn 3 or 4 new pitches all of a sudden. Is it, you got a vibe, you feel good about all the different ways you're going to kick off, and maybe now you can go back to focusing more on the place kicking?
Obviously the place kick and the field goals matter the most, and I think maybe trying to hit those knuckleballs and the funny kickoffs maybe affected the field goals a little bit. So I think halfway through the season last year, I just said, forget the kickoffs, but I'm just going to hit a high hang time ball, good rotation, just focus on the location. I'm not going to try to hit a low line drive knuckleball. And I think that's helped my field goals because then it's kind of the same foot to ball contact, good foot to ball contact on the field goal, and just do the same thing on the kickoff rather than having like 2 different swings. So that helped me the second half of the season, and I'm kind of sticking with that for training camp in the season.
In your conversations with Dave, where do you feel like your neutral condition range is, at this stage?
So another thing, throughout my entire career here, I feel like the only time I've hit a field goal longer than 58 yards was the end of a half or end of a game. So even when the wind's at my back, it's like, all right, we get the ball to the 40-yard line, it's a 58-yarder, that's what I'm expected to make. The other stuff is very rare. I need to be able to dial that up, but the majority of my kicks need to be 58 and in. And even I think I was looking up, if you took out the field goals from under 30 yards, which are kind of chip shots, everybody pretty much makes those. If you take those field goals out, the average field goal distance is like 45 yards. So I'm really trying to focus in on that number. Let me hit 40 to 50-yard field goals consistently. And if you're doing that, then a 53-yarder or a 37-yarder is still kind of within that range, and you're kind of mentally used to that and physically used to that.
Dan Blair, the routine you mentioned that the onset of this, as far as every 15 to 20 minutes, is that something you came up with as a result of doing that kick well in practice last year that just maybe wasn't translated?
Yeah, I think I noticed myself kicking maybe a set of like 20, 25 balls in a row and feeling really confident with that. And then when I did have a kick, whether it was in practice with the offense or even in the game, maybe it was just like my confidence wasn't as good because you're only kicking in the net and you can't see the ball flight. So if anything, it's a mental thing, just gaining confidence that I don't need to hit a lot of balls right before the period. And then in the game, I don't need to hit a bunch of balls in the kicking net. So, kicking's so much of a mental thing, but I think that's been helpful for me mentally, at least.
We didn't have a great vantage point, but there was a misfit or something. What's happening there?
I just destroyed the ground, and Coach Reid was reminding me that the footballs are brown, they're not green, because I hit so much of the ground. No, obviously you never want to do that, and you don't even give it a chance when you hit the ground that bad. So, yeah, that was not good.
Are you stronger today now than when you were a rookie?
Yes, I'm definitely stronger now than I think that's just because maybe you get older, you get in your prime, the weightlifting, the sprints, all that stuff. I think that's been helpful. But another thing for my focus on the field goals is just being really smooth. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm not trying to hit the ball hard. So again, hitting those 58-yard field goals and in, just keeping it smooth gives me a better chance of making the kick.
I was just curious, with a longer off season, did you do anything differently to prepare for this season? Was there anything specific you worked on, or did you approach it any differently?
No, I really just tried to get away from football so that I was excited to get back to it. And we got 4 children now, and we love having fun, and I was just getting away from football. And I don't know, I've heard that from older guys as well. It's like, I want to make sure I'm refreshed and ready to go when I walk in the building or I'm there at the game. I don't want to drain myself from just having football on my mind all the time. And I think that's been helpful for me, just getting away so that when I do get to the facility, get to practice, I can lock in a lot easier.
After practice today, I think in that last answer kind of mentioned it, and he also sprinkled it in there earlier. It feels, and Dave Tope said it last year, a lot of it mental. A lot of it was the mental side. I mean, even him just talking about, hey, I need to, it's nice to just go have fun this off season with the family and not be football. It sounds like he needed a break. He needed a mental break, and also it's been maybe wearing on him mentally because he knows he hasn't been performing as well the last couple of years. And so hopefully that works. The part that I thought was interesting, and I guess I didn't really think about this, and I don't know, I'd love to talk to like another kicker on another team. He was kind of making the case that the new kickoffs, which has now been a couple years, but everybody trying to figure out the different way to do the kickoff, that was causing him to have different contact on the football for that versus field goals, and it was messing maybe with his field goals.
I mean,
hope
but you
that's
only
the
have two
case.
jobs: kick it once on the kickoff and kick a field goal.
No, I'm not excusing his performance. I'm just telling you, if that's what it took him this long to figure that out.
Maybe. And look, and some of this is like people are creatures of habit, and he's probably had the same routine throughout all of it. And a lot of times it's like, and I'm not saying he's using that as an excuse, but in a lot of ways,
I'm
it's
just
like,
more interested that that's a real okay, that
Maybe.
happened. Not that it's an excuse,
Yeah.
but that was really impacting it.
I mean,
I hope so, because that means it's correctable.
Yeah, I don't think he's making up the fact that it was impacting him. But to your point, it's like there might be other kickers who said it's impacting them as much, but there were 15 guys who were more accurate than him last year. So
Absolutely.
It impacted those guys not as much, or they found a way to work through it, maybe through the end of the season or whatever. And I don't know if it was 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, 14. 14 guys who were more accurate than him last year. And he was tied for 15th with Zane Gonzalez.
Yeah, he has to be better.
But in fairness, Brandon Aubrey, who's now the highest paid kicker in the NFL, he was below Harrison Butker last year in just total field goal percentage. Now, that would say, same thing applies. Nobody probably saw Nick Folk being the most accurate kicker last year. But that's part of the job. And look, I always think, and this goes for sports across the board, I always think it's easy to be successful when nothing's going wrong. It's the easiest thing in the world to be a kicker when you're making all your kicks. But then when you miss a couple and it gets in your head and this, that's a tough one people have a hard time getting out of that sometimes for a variety of reasons. And so if he just needed to clear his head so he can make kicks, great. I hope that works, because otherwise he's not going to be a Chief next year. If he makes the amount of kicks he has been making over the last 3 to 5 years, well, he's not going to be a Chief unless he makes some massive ones in a postseason run on his way to a Super Bowl. Then I won't care.
Yeah, and if this team's back in the playoffs, ultimately that's what is going to really dictate his future, and ultimately it's why fans view him the way that he does. He has made more clutch kicks over the last decade than anybody else in football.
I think the thing that has surprised me the most, though, I will say, is that he isn't – I used to think of him as a big-legged kicker, and he's not. Or he's not compared to others. I don't know if that's, I want to make the whole big thing. But
I think the league has shifted. I think just about everybody in the league has a leg now.
Will Reichert attempted 13 kicks from 50-plus. He made 11 of them. Nick Folk attempted 8. He made 7. Pinheiro attempted 7. He made 6. Harrison Butker, from 50 yards last year, attempted 8, made 5. You're like, no, you got to make them from 52. Everyone else is. Or I just mentioned Brandon Aubrey. He attempted 17 of them, made 11.
Yeah, and Aubrey, the big story with him is the fact that he was better than anybody above 50. I'm just saying, I think everybody in the league now is making 45 and 50-yard field goals look easy.
Yeah, and when Butker was making them in the early part of his career, he felt like he was one of the few. You're right. League's changed a little bit, so we'll keep an eye out on it. He's definitely a player. We were making that list earlier of players who are essentially playing for their job in Kansas City. Butker's on it. I mean, he's definitely on it. Just how much he's paid, the percentage of kicks he's making here lately, those things will absolutely matter.
All right, let's get to them, Drew. You got a couple for us.
Camp questions.
Yeah, guys, I got a couple of them for you. Emmett Johnson, I got 3 of them, actually. One of them is a more fun question that I'm curious to see what you guys will think at the end. Emmett Johnson, haven't heard his name come up too much. Obviously, we know Amari DiMercato, it feels like, is comfortably, at least as of right now, maybe the number 2 back. Is there any concern maybe for Emmett Johnson's name not being brought up as much right now, or is this something that we need to just wait for the first preseason game and to see the game action with him to really see where he's at in terms of this offense, in terms of his comfortability with the NFL game compared to what he did in Nebraska?
It feels a player like him, because of his vision and skill set, he's gonna make noise in a preseason game, and fans will get excited. But here at camp, and you heard Nate Taylor mention it, the problem, if you will, and it's very early on in his career, he's a rookie, but the problem right now is the pass protection. It was an issue at Nebraska as well, and it's been something here already, which is, can they trust that you're not going to get your quarterback killed because you miss an assignment or whatever? So I think in preseason, yes, to answer your question, he has a chance to show out more because maybe he has a big run, and we see why they liked him, why they drafted him. But is he able to pass protect? And he's got to pick that up if he wants to get on the field in the regular season.
I genuinely think he clearly has some athleticism and some decent vision. We won't even know if he has either of those things if he doesn't protect Patrick Mahomes or Justin Fields in a preseason game. DeMercado's had a pretty decent career of protecting the passer and being in on third down situations. So you know that they probably trust him at least to some facet. Drew, it's like, I think sometimes it's also hard to make noise at a position where how many first-team reps are you getting versus somebody else? And until they're doing what Nate said next week, where they, can tackle to the ground, it's actually hard to know if a running back's going to, make it all the way through.
Yeah.
You see him make a little bit of contact. Were they going to break that, not break that? Yes, no, we can't actually know the answers. Running backs are sometimes tough in that spot.
Second question for you guys. Andy had mentioned during his press availability today with Gelati being out, FAU is getting some more run, and he's looked pretty good. Have you changed your stance at all in regards to whether you think FAU makes this team or not, obviously with that battle on the edge?
Yeah, he's making the team now. Yeah, I can admit that the conversation.
I always thought he was making the team, but it was fringe. But you thought he might not
have to now. Look at the sheer number of players that are. You had even the Ethan Downs injury. Now Gelati's dealing with a hamstring. He's getting some first-team reps. Yeah, I think he's definitely making the team now.
I think I always thought he was probably making it, but I think that FAU, and this is it's going to sound shocking to so many of our audience as I brought it up, as the lead probably FAU hater from day one, I think now that everything's erased and I'm just looking at him as a rotational defensive lineman, erased from the reasons I didn't want him to take or anything else, I think he's going to have a nice contribution season as a rotational defensive lineman. Drew, I think he's going to have 3 sacks, 2.5, 3 sacks. He's going to be a perfectly fine defensive lineman who will be better in run stuff than he will be on pass rush, but he'll find himself into a couple of sacks this year, and he'll be fine. He'll be bottom of the depth chart, but he'll dress every single game, and he'll be available for the team. I'm not I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. Yeah.
All right, the final one for you. This is never going to happen, ever.
I can't even see Drew, and I can tell he's smirking, he's smiling, he's laughing, he's about to say something he knows I'm going to hate. I can already tell.
Yes, I think it actually is that exact reason.
I'm listening.
This is never going to happen in an NFL game, but would you be interested if for some reason this was an option in a Chiefs preseason game? So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the University of Akron will let one fan serve as the offensive coordinator of the game for its home opener against Robert Morris, a game that they probably will win. The winner will also, they're going to help script the Zips opening offensive drive. They basically, if you buy season tickets, they're $75 a pop. There's a random drawing and your name gets drawn. If the Chiefs did this during a preseason game and said, all right, we're going to do a raffle or we're going to do a drawing, you got to, I don't know, not in season tickets, but you got to buy a ticket to the game. I don't know, something along those lines. Would you buy a ticket for a chance at scheming up the first offensive drive for the Chiefs in preseason game number 1?
Hell yeah.
Yes. I would be there for his fourth quarter, and it was Chris Oladokun.
I would do this for any team, by the way. You're obviously mentioning Kansas City because we're here. If you told me that opportunity existed for any team, college, NFL, if I could do
if there was a raffle to set the Royals lineup, I'm in.
Absolutely.
And they actually have to do it?
Absolutely.
Even in a spring training game, they got it. If it was now look, I will say the only trouble with this is that they really do care about evaluation. I think you would have to make it a contest. The only way the Chiefs would ever do it is if it was a collaboration. You sat down with Andy to make a plan. As in, he's going to probably try to, help you be Andy, because I'll be honest, the only problem with this,
Drew, is first play, Cody.
Yeah,
first play.
Double reverse.
It's
going to be some insane
First play, actually, flea flicker, Mahomes deep to Xavier Worthy preseason game. Why not? Let's do
streaks. Hey, Andy, I've been running this play in Madden. It works all the time.
Yeah.
That old bootleg post corner from the tight end. That's my play. It's going to be
You know what my play would be? Actually, I figured out my play. It would not be the flea flicker.
QB sneak?
I actually am going to tell him it's a QB sneak or Justin Fields is coming in to run the QB sneak. That's the play I want to call for Andy.
I would do it in a millisecond. I can't imagine other teams will follow suit. It's an actual game for them.
Yeah, correct. It is the opener for Akron. They play Robert Morris, who's FCS. So, Akron should win the game. But can you imagine if the first play is a pick six? At that moment, and you're down, and not that they would lose that game, but to do it in a regular season game is pretty fascinating. But yeah, I was curious to see what you guys would say. I don't know who would say no to that.
I'd buy a ticket right away. Thank you, Drew, for your camp questions.
That's great.
It is official, by the way. Stephon Diggs is now a Commander for 1 year's $12 million. I'm trying to decide who's going to handle it. Briscoe had pointed this out. Who's going to handle it better, Chiefs fans or Brandon Ayuk? Who, as of, I don't know, an hour ago had posted on social media, you'll catch me on the Commander's website soon. Were there Chiefs fans who still wanted Diggs? I thought they fell in love with Cyrus Allen and they let that all go. Are Chiefs fans upset that Stephon Diggs has landed officially with the Commanders? They needed this bad, by the way.
Yeah.
I hate the Commanders roster. They needed a wide receiver like him bad.
Oh, I'm sure there's some Chiefs fans that wanted him. I was interested this offseason in Stephon Diggs, absolutely. I think the only way that I would have thought there was a chance they were signing him still once we got to St. Joe would have been if there was a serious injury to one of the top 2 or 3 receivers. That would have been, to me, go back to last Saturday. When the initial video and report was coming out about Cyrus Allen limping off and being carted off, even if it was the front of the cart, if we would have got word later in the day that he tore an ACL, I would have said, oh, they have to sign Diggs. Like, that would have been my take on Monday's show. Fortunately, that was not what happened, and it's a shin bruise, and we hope to see Allen back out here playing. He was actually at practice today, but he wasn't practicing.
Stephon Diggs was a good weapon last year. He was an effective wide receiver for the Patriots.
It's going to help Jaden Daniels, for sure.
Help Drake May.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it can't. Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs, that's an actual wide receiver unit. I like Jaden Daniels to have a much more likely comeback season now that this signing has taken place. I still think their offensive line is ass. Pro Football Focus has been putting out their rankings of offensive linemen 1 through 32. The Commanders have like 3 in the bottom 20, including the last-ranked center in Nick Allegretti, old friend. Nick Allegretti. So, they needed all the help they can get. But also, Chiefs can't afford $12 million, can they?
No,
Am I wrong? Can the Chiefs afford $12 million?
Not right now, they can't. They would have to
get a 4-year deal with 3 dead years and what for 12?
It would have to be that, or they would have to restructure somebody else's deal. They'd have to redo, move some money around on Trey Smith's deal or Creed Humphrey's deal or somebody else, right? That's a vet on this team that has some money. I'm glad they did. The one thing I'm glad the Chiefs did not do this offseason, we talked about it back in February. They did not mess with Chris Jones' contract. Yeah, it's a massive cap hit this year, but you don't want to kick that down the road too much given his age and everything. And so I'm glad they didn't do that. But yeah, right this second, no. To answer your question, the Chiefs do not have money to sign anybody.
Not $12 million. I mean, I understand they can still move money, but you and I had said one of the important things this offseason financially was what you just said. Do not move Chris Jones's money, because as it sits right now, you would actually save $20 million if you cut him next year, and if you play with him for one more year, you'd save $35 million. In the final year of the deal, he'd only be a $9.7 million cap hit. I'll tell you what, I think Chris Jones is a Chief next year, unless he has a real bad year, and he didn't have a real bad year last year. I think Chris Jones and Peter Woods are going to be on the defensive line together for the next 2 seasons. But then after that, they're never paying him $44 million again, when there's $35 million in savings in 2028. Not unless this cap skyrockets to some unforeseen.
He's got 2 years max, I would say, left.
Who just got paid in the defense? Didn't a defensive tackle just get paid? I was thinking maybe his number's not.
As in this, today or something, or in the last day
in the last month. I thought Jalen Carter got a big deal.
He did. Jalen Carter did last week.
Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, somebody got a big deal. Jalen Carter makes an average of $38 million a year. Chris Jones is at $31 million a year. So, and look, he's one of the highest paid guys. Dexter Lawrence makes $28 million a year. Now, he's quite a bit older than Jeffrey Simmons, who makes more a year than him, and Jalen Carter, who makes more than a year than him. But also, he's on the back end of that deal now. $31 million a year. It won't take long before some of these other guys are paid more than him, so be it. There just aren't that many high paid. There are only 6 guys who are paid more than $25 million a year at defensive tackle. There aren't that many guys who make big checks, but there aren't that many dominant defensive tackles. So I don't know. It is interesting to kind of see. I didn't think they had the $12 million to sign Stephon Diggs anyway. Someone said Sky Moore, welcome back. Is McCole Hardman on our roster? DeMarcus Robinson. Who are all the guys who they haven't brought back in a while? Any of those guys? DeMarcus Robinson. He's employed by the 49ers.
Sky Moore is with the Packers, by the way.
Oh, Sky is? Okay.
Sky's with the
Where's
Packers.
McCole?
McCole was, Drew. McCole was there last year. I don't know if he's still there. He's with the – is this up to date? With the Bills? That was last year. He ended the season with the Bills. I don't know where he's at right this second, though.
Is he a free agent?
He might be. I'm not sure. This says – Wikipedia says he's with Buffalo, but I don't know for sure. I'd have to go –
It says to present, yeah.
Bills depth chart. Let's see. Now I'm just.
He's got a spot track thing that says his salary cap hit for 2026. He's on a 1 year, $1.1 million deal with the Bills.
He's in the wide receiver room with Khalil, Miller, Joshua Palmer, DJ Moore, Keon Coleman, McCole Hardman.
Who's the former Chief we're not thinking of? DeAndre Hopkins? Does he count as a former Chief? He's available.
He's coaching at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he's not at the Patriots. He was there with the Patriots, and he left, and now he's with Georgia Tech.
He's going to actually coach with them, or
yeah,
just hanging out?
No, he took a coaching job.
Oh, he took a coaching job with Georgia Tech?
He said he's not retired, but he's coaching wide receivers there.
Oh, man, I totally missed that.
He was with the Patriots staff in camp for like a week.
All right, here are you ready for the list of free agent available wide receivers?
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, Curtis Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins is on the list. I know we just discussed him. Noah Brown, Keenan Allen, Josh Reynolds, Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Sterling Shepard, Sky Moore. I mean, some of these guys have had a career. Tyler Lockett. Gabriel Davis. Gabe Davis still available. You want to take like just a shot on a guy in a camp?
No.
That guy can't play.
He'd
be signed by now if he could play.
The Commanders, they signed.
He's young.
The Commanders signed Treylon Burks or whatever. Remember the former top pick of the Titans? That was a bust. And they signed him, and he was looking good at Commanders camp, and obviously not good enough to where they felt like they didn't need to sign Stephon Diggs. But, I don't know. Commanders wide receiver room. I mean, Terry McLaurin had a bad year last year. As good of a receiver he's been in his career, he was not good last year. And I understand Marcus Mariota was the quarterback for much of the year, but their receiver room now is Terry McLaurin, Stephon Diggs, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Treylon Burks.
It's not a terrible room, but it's not. It's better
It's
than
a
the
lot
Raiders. Better than the Raiders.
Stephon Diggs definitely upgrades.
Do that list, but without Stephon Diggs, and then tell me what that room is, Drew. It's the worst in the league.
No, the Raiders is worse. The Raiders is worse.
Terry McLaurin can't make you. If you have McLaurin, your room can't be worse.
If you got
the Raiders room is. I mean, I only know this because
it really
of
bad?
dumb fancy football reasons.
Trey Tucker is the best one.
It is.
Trey Tucker's their one?
Jalen Naylor is their number 2 receiver.
Okay, that's the worst.
Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, Dante Thornton Jr., the rookie they drafted last year that was bad, Malik Benson, Philip Dorsett. I mean, it's
Trey Tucker's their number one wide receiver.
Yes. I mean, they might as well play Kirk Cousins all year.
Jalen Naylor, who was like the 4th or 5th option in Minnesota, is their number 2 option in.
It's crazy.
Or, whatever it is in Vegas. It's not good. It's weird. In the Chiefs division, you think about the wide receiver rooms. We know, I like Sutton and Waddle quite a bit there in Denver. That's pretty damn good. We've talked plenty about the Chiefs. The Chargers wide receiver room is another one where you're like, okay.
No, I don't love theirs at all.
What's his name? Bounce back. It's Quentin Johnson, who was good for about 7 weeks last year.
Then fell off.
And then Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey. I know they drafted Brennan Thompson, people like, but I don't know. He's probably 5th receiver for them this year.
I was just curious. Look at the Colts room. They got Alec Pierce as their 1, but Ashton Doolin, Josh Downs are their 2 and their 3.
I mean, Josh Downs probably had more yardage than Trey Tucker last year.
They have that. The guy that
Josh Downs is solid.
They also have the former Titan receiver. Remember, all he did was score touchdowns. Had no yards. The Westbrook Akine or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember, he just he did not have yards, but he just had 10 touchdowns.
He was a red zone guy.
It was ridiculous for fantasy football and stuff. It's like what? Yeah, Nick Westbrook Akine. I guess he's not a Titan anymore. Last year he had what was it? He ended up with 8 touchdowns, guys, and 89 yards.
What? That's crazy.
Right? Is that right? Or was that
That's a joke.
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. In 2024, 9 touchdowns and 400 and something yards. Sorry. Last year he was not good at all. The year before, though, 9 touchdowns out of nowhere.
Weird.
Anyway, up next, guys, let's get to what's trending. Then you'll hear our conversation with Noah Gray, Chiefs tight end. A big day at practice, though, for him. He was probably one of the most impressive players on the field today. We asked him about that. You'll hear it next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? Well, on Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Let's take a look at the AFC West, for instance. Kansas City currently trading at 34%. A $100 trade there would net you $281 in profit. You can choose league winners, individuals, futures over there on Kalshi. You're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Red Eddie. Football season is just around the corner, and just like your favorite team, you've got to fuel up to perform. At break time, we've got your training camp essentials, ice-cold drinks, protein-packed snacks, and all your game day favorites. Whether you're hitting the field or cheering from the sidelines, teamwork starts with the right fuel.
Let's go! One team, one goal!
Swing by Break Time, your home team for snacks, drinks, and everything in between. Download our mobile app and find a location near you. We're proud to be Missouri made.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
FanDuel is giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. Bet $5 daily and unlock $200 in bet resets every day. That's right. New customers can place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. Whether you're betting money lines, player props, or same-game parlays, FanDuel has you covered. Place your daily $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 in bet resets. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, your home for home runs. FanDuel is the official partner of the MLB and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager required for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $200 per day. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
A cancer diagnosis is overwhelming. Choosing the right treatment shouldn't be. If you've been diagnosed with breast, head and neck, or prostate cancer, before you decide, you have options. At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care. Proton therapy offers increased precision, protecting healthy tissue as compared to standard radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study.
Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending as we continue to broadcast from training camp. Bunch of injury updates today. Unfortunately, a few new names as well. Bassa added to the injury report with a groin strain. Fulton still dealing with a hip strain. Drew Tranquil, a new injury. Back spasms, although it sounds like that might just be 3 days in a row for a veteran linebacker.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy still dealing with a shoulder. You also have Cyrus Allen still dealing with the shin bruise, and then Ashton Gelati, the hamstring. But the new additions were Bassa and Tranquil.
Don't forget, also, the Chiefs have said that they're getting rid of GEHA on the stadium, and what they're calling a mutual decision, just going back to Arrowhead.
There we go.
No more GEHA, just Arrowhead Stadium once again. Next up on What's Trending, the Royals winners last night, 8-2. Bobby Wood Jr., immediate impact. Randy Dobnak pitched well again, as he has every single start he's been with the Kansas City Royals. They'll be back in action tonight at home against the Twins. It'll be Noah Cameron on the mound.
News in the NFL today, the Washington Commanders have signed free agent veteran wide receiver Stephon Diggs, according to Adam Schefter, to a one-year, $12 million contract to bolster their wide receiver room.
Lastly, on What's Trending, it is official. They thought yesterday, but it is official. It's a torn ACL for Jalen Walker, the young defensive lineman. He'll be out for all of 2026. It is the worst part about training camp, man. The injuries that just completely change people's seasons when they get knocked out for the year. It stinks.
That is What's Trending, and our training camp coverage is presented by Yingling Flight. Football season starts here. Reach for Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Earlier today, Noah Gray stopped by after practice. He had a really strong practice today. We asked him if he thought this was his best practice of camp.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think guys were coming out here working hard. It was the longest day so far, so it was good. We got the pads on. Guys are just, staying the course. They're paying attention in meetings, and they're taking out in the field. So it's really a credit to everybody that shows out here and just continues to work hard. I feed off that energy from when my teammates are doing that, Is
this the first practice where you kind of really feel it? It's, 3 straight days of pads? You mentioned it's the longest one. Is it now do you feel like you're really in it?
Yeah, it's always been like that. I feel like since the start, you have to have the mindset that you are in it, and you can't let it just surprise you or just show up in the middle of training camp. You just got to, buckle up, hunker down, and just work hard, because every day is going to present its own challenges. So when you show up to training camp, you just have that mindset that you are in this, you are working hard, and you're working for each other.
Do you guys? Do you guys have like a pool for most training camp touchdowns? Is there a long-standing bet amongst you guys for whoever gets in the end zone the most?
Man, I don't even think about it. All I think about is coming out here and working for my teammates. Doing my job because it helps the guy next to me, and I know he's got the same mentality because he's helping me out. So, it was a great day today, but we're going to keep this thing moving. We got meetings this afternoon, and we're just going to keep rolling.
I know you guys have obviously talked about Patrick Mahomes working this hard to come back from the injury can motivate. What about seeing Travis? How much are you still learning from him? You guys have worked together for years now, but for a veteran like that, what are you still learning from Travis?
Oh, every day. There's always something new that he brings to the table, whether that's something that he's doing in his routes, blocking wise. The dude's been doing it for as long as anybody has. He's the greatest of all time at what he does. So when a guy like that steps on the field, and he could be doing anything else, but he's here right now and he's working alongside us. So it gives you motivation to up your game, to work harder, and there's just so much that you can learn from him. I'm just so grateful that I'm privileged to be on the same field as him, to pick his brain, to watch him continue to make great plays, because that's just the type of player and dude he is.
We're talking to Noah Gray here on 96.5 The Fan. How do you think he looks, though? Because there was some weird social media stuff. People are using like AI, saying he's out of shape and all that. We've all watched him here. He's obviously
looks
great.
Kels is the man. He's great. He's rolling. Dude's in the best shape of his life. He's a phenomenal football player. He always will be. So he's doing great.
Did you get out on the dance floor a little bit at the wedding?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Well, we heard it was like early. I think it was Xavier Worthy said he wasn't able to make it. So we were like, it doesn't feel like an invitation a lot of the guys turned down. I didn't know if the dates conflicted for you. You were out there, though, right?
Yeah, I'm not really going to speak on it.
No, just
right
like,
now,
yeah.
But,
yeah.
you know, I love Kels. I love Taylor. They're awesome people. So shout out to them, and we're just so grateful they're married and spending the rest of their lives together.
One of the things we've noticed here, Noah, at camp is you guys are under a center a lot more maybe than we typically see. As a tight end, what does that mean for you? What could that change for you?
It doesn't change anything. You know, I think the mindset and the goal and what we do and what we're asked to do from our coaches within our routes, run blocking, that's just what we got to do. And whatever they ask the quarterbacks to do, they just have the same mindset. That's what they got to do. So it doesn't affect or change anything, I believe, from my perspective or what my job is. But we're just going to go out there, put my hand in the dirt, and keep this thing rolling.
What do you think was the difference between 2 years ago and last year for you? And I guess, how do you view like how last year went for you or what you're trying to accomplish this season? How do you view the last couple of years of your career?
You obviously learn from your past, but I don't stay in it. And I think I just have to be present. I think all these guys have to be present. Whatever happened last year, we're going to always learn from it, but we can't think about it too much. We can't continue to dwell on it. So we're just going to keep motivated right now for this 2026 season. We got some preseason games coming up. We got tomorrow's practice, so we got to be grounded where we are, and we're just going to keep it day by day, learn from the past, but just keep this thing moving, keep our heads down, stay humble, and keep working hard.
I know you got young kids. Is that eating up most of your off season? Did you get into anything else? How'd you spend your time away?
Yeah, spend it with the family. I think the blessing of being an NFL football player is you work hard and there's a lot that you sacrifice in season, but the off season you do have time to get away and spend it with your family. I just encourage everybody, when they're not working, to be with your kids, be with your wife, spend the time to love them, to go do things with them, because it means a lot. And when you get out here in training camp, it's just like you miss them so much. But when you cherish those moments in the off season, you're able to go do things, go to the pool, go to the aquarium, whatever it is, just go love your family, man. Whatever it is that you do, if you're in finance, if you're a musician, go love your family, because they're the best. And my two little girls are amazing, and I thank Jesus every day that I'm fortunate enough to go home to them.
We're talking to Noah Gray here on 96.5 The Fan. We saw yesterday, I think it was like Legends Day maybe. You guys, I saw Sharkandrick West was out here. Of course, there's some of the fellowship coaches. Tyrann Matthews been out here. What's it like to see some of the former Chiefs? Dwayne Bowe, I think, was here. What's that like for you?
It's really cool. Yeah, I think those guys are a huge part of our history here. They're a big reason why I'm standing here today. I mean, they paved the way. Those guys made Chiefs football fun, and it's a huge reason why I'm here today. So to see those guys come back, some guys that I was fortunate enough to play with, other guys who I watched growing up, who I had on my fantasy team, Debo, it's cool to see, and they love this area. They love the people here, the fans here, and they love Chiefs football. So it's really awesome to be able to get out here, connect with them. So it's great.
When do you think the transition was from, I always think of a professional athlete, maybe you didn't grow up watching the Chiefs. What's the transition like from childhood team to now this is the team I play for? College? High school? When does the transition start where you don't have that same connection to the childhood team and you're a Chief now?
I think it probably started when I was going through my draft process, just coming to the understanding that whoever picked me it's going to be a blessing, and when I came here to Kansas City, you're working for Kansas City, that you're playing for Kansas City. It's something way bigger than yourself, So I grew up in Massachusetts, so obviously I was a huge Patriots, Boston sports fan.
Pretty good time to grow up a Boston fan.
It was awesome. it was great, But I've been here in Kansas City for 6 years, and the day that I got drafted here, nothing else mattered. It was like I'm a Kansas City Chief, and this is what we're rolling with.
You still a Red Sox fan, or were you ever?
I always root for them, and I just feel like my time is a little busy to watch other sports. But I'm a Sox fan, I'm a Bruins fan, Celtics fan, so it's great.
Was it weird meeting, I guess, a particular Patriots player? Was there a guy you're like, oh, I remember watching you?
I don't even remember if I haven't met any other Patriots players, but I played against Tom Brady in Tampa like 4 years ago, so that was pretty cool, being on field and playing against a guy that you grew up watching.
Before we let you go, our friends over at the Art of Sports gave us some Topps Chrome football packs. We've been opening some up with every player, so let's see if we
it's only 4 cards.
Have you ever ripped any cards before?
Yeah, someone had me do it. Sorry, I got gloves on, so let's see if I can.
We'll at least get the
I think
packs
we're
open
good.
for us.
We're looking for an auto still. At some point during camp, we're supposed to get one. We haven't got one yet. So our best card has been a numbered Joe Burrow, so we're looking for something better.
See if we get a
Jalen Hurts number.
Miller. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts had a 99.
Right here.
Let me get you out of here. Right,
so we're looking for a signature?
Yeah, we haven't got an auto yet. We're still waiting. We've only had one Chiefs player so far too. Brashard
Hunter Henry. Oh, this is what I'm talking about here. We got Jamar Chase. You got Chris Godwin. We're right here, baby. Tight end you, baby. Let's go.
So that was Noah Gray with us earlier today, having some fun opening some packs at the end there. Text line mentioned this earlier when he was live with us, and now multiple texts again. Everybody agrees he sounds like Tom Brady.
Kinda.
He sounds like Tom Brady.
He does kind of sound like Tom Brady.
And he was a Patriots fan growing up.
I didn't get it the first time, but yeah.
No, I put on a headset. I'm like,
live
hear it.
when he was joining us, I did not think he sounded like Brady. But now listening back to it,
yeah. There's a little bit there. It's not perfect. It's not a dead-on match. But if you were, passing by, I could see why you would think that it sounds like Tom Brady. He didn't want to talk about the wedding. That's fine.
Yeah, he does.
Definitely didn't want to talk about the wedding.
He definitely didn't want to talk about it.
He gave me a side-eye, man.
They signed that NDA, and he's like, I'm not screwing this NDA up.
When I asked the follow-up, I got a little bit of the, like,
I mean, you could tell in his answer, he was like, yeah.
I ain't talking about that. He gave me the look, too. Like,
I will say this. You could probably tell. So normally the player will come right after practice. I think what happened, they were real late today. I think he was already heading up.
I think so,
and then they asked him to come back down, and I'm sure he was like, I just had a damn football practice.
I've had 3 straight padded practices.
I'm guessing that's what some of that was. But, no, we appreciate Noah joining us. And it is a big year for him, though. Look, of course. He did not have a good year last year. No. And so this is a massive year for him. He did have a great practice today. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. For the tight end group.
Drew, am I correct?
It's starting to rain
a little bit, but you earlier in the show, we had talked in the Trash of the Day on an update of a woman who did a really bad national anthem.
Yes.
And you had I'd once recorded one for you guys.
I was going to surprise Gold with it actually and just play it, but yes, I did find it.
I don't want to play the whole thing, but I think can we play like 10 seconds worth?
Let's hear
20
it.
seconds
Cody,
worth?
Let's hear. How many years
want
this
to play the
couple
whole
years
thing because
ago?
it actually is pretty impressive. This is this is 2 years ago?
2 years ago or something. Whenever that I was out of town and that woman
a year or two
who sang the national anthem and turned out she was drunk.
But the reason why we're playing it today is because we of course were giving you the update on
correct. This is more of a funnier
of the Reeves anthem during the women's professional baseball game. Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare.
All right,
all right, can we stop? It sounds like, I wish we were on video. It sounds like Cody's like puffing out his chest.
That's how you gotta sing it. I told you.
It doesn't sound. It sounds fake. It sounds fake.
But it doesn't sound like ass.
It's better.
Sounds a lot better than that.
It does, but it sounds like you're like.
I told you. A huge part of the problem was in the entire time I did the national anthem.
I am Cody Top. Like it sounds like
it sounds a little like and we need runs now. Call Bob Salvini. That's what it sounds like. I'm going because if I sing it high, I'm going to eventually miss a note.
I'm going back to the at the end to the land of the free part because it is exactly that. It is the puffing out of the chest. Here we go.
For the land of the free.
I did such short notice.
And the home of the brave.
I told you, genuinely one of the issues is that when I used to do it, I did the other part. I did the bass part when I did the national anthem in the choir.
Yeah.
You do.
Oh, it was better than Martha
can
Reeves.
You see by the dawn's early light? That's how you'd sing it when you were at
you would have done a better job if they would have played that version over the speaker. It would have been better than what we
oh my God,
heard by a mile.
And it would sound better if it had the actual sound of the national anthem stuff behind you. That lady at least had a little bit of a backing track.
Backup singers.
That thing's just a cappella.
Yeah.
And I did that in the car, out of town, on short notice for Drew. No warm-up, no practice. just leaned in. So I deserve credit for trying. And that thing's 2 years old now. It's crazy.
It is 2 years old.
We just sat on it because
that's never been.
It was going to be on the show, and then it never played. And then, I forgot it existed until Drew said I sung the national anthem for the show once. So, you know what? Good times.
What a weird day at camp. Right before we hopped on, downpour, lightning. They moved inside. They came out just in time of the show. Now we're about to wrap up the show, and it's a downpour again. It's just a weird day.
Yeah. A little bit of rain up here at camp. But at least the fans got back in. Most of the fans got back in and got a chance to catch some of training camp, so it could be a lot worse, right? Could be worse. Oh, man.
I saw on social media today. We were, of course, not in studio, so we weren't part of it. We wouldn't have been part of this one. But we had looks like you guys did a Would You Rather, Drew. And I think it was you,
at the station?
You, Rob, Dusty, and Bob, if I'm not mistaken, were the only people that did the video. And the question was, would you rather basically drive and go to camp with Cody or myself?
I hope you don't want me to roll it in because I don't have it.
Yeah, I just realized that as I said that. We don't have the
audio.
audio.
I didn't think
about basically,
it.
I heard
what
it.
Was your answer?
Your answer. Well, yeah. Tell us what your answer was, and I know the answer is everybody else. But.
So my answer was Gold because I've been in the car with Gold. I didn't. Have I ever been in a car with you, Cody? To my knowledge,
you and I drove to the Lions game.
Yeah. To my knowledge, I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know if
you've ever been in the car. So that was my reasoning behind it.
Cody and I have been on multiple times road trips or whatever together, whatever.
Or rental cars out of town.
Dusty mentioned Gold too. I think because I don't know the exact reason. I know he mentioned Chipotle in there as well because
he
of course.
He said he thinks we would have to stop at Chipotle, but he would get sick of Cody singing the same song over and over. I think is what he said, or something like that. Now Rob said you, Cody. He said that because you could joke around and tell stories.
Yes.
And then Bob just said he's not spending an hour with me in the car.
That basically was it. He said he would
because
rather,
they've known each other so long.
Bob
those
said
were the
rather
answers.
hear your songs than spend an hour in the car with Alex, which I thought was crazy.
That's what he said. I feel like I feel like riding in the car with Bob, we get lost. You would think something's somewhere else, and it's not actually there and stuff.
Interesting.
I think we would get lost. Carrington didn't answer,
between
so I don't
the
know.
KU guys now, huh?
I don't know. Rob, I'm not
didn't
sure.
answer?
I guess Rob,
I'm surprised.
Rob and I have
fine.
known each other longer than you and I have known each other. So at this point, there's probably just like a comfort part. Like Rob and I have been in a car together multiple times.
I don't think I've
probably over
ever
the
ridden
course
the car
of
with
time.
Rob. Definitely not.
I've
Dusty
golfed
and I.
with Rob. I
rode with
baseball with
Dusty
Rob. I played a
to
bunch of
Springfield
stuff.
for our road trip. So
Yeah.
him and I have been in a car and Omaha. I guess him and I have been.
Yeah,
on
so you guys have
two
been in the
longer
car a
drives
couple of
before.
times. You and I over the years have been in a car any number of times, or next to each other on a bus or any other,
Sure.
mode of transportation. People ask us all the time, by the way, if we ride up together. No, we live in opposite ends of town.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not driving all the way to Alex or him all the way to me.
It just doesn't work.
Or we're meeting at the station. We're both driving in the wrong direction just to get to the
Yeah, if we both
training
lived out south or both in the Northland,
Yeah, we
or
probably
something.
would.
I know. I mean, back in the day when the morning show, with Bob and Josh, they would ride together, but they both lived out south.
Sure,
For you
makes
and I,
sense.
yeah, the separate drive is just the way it is. I mean, kind of have to do it.
Sick of the drive.
I'll admit, man.
The drive back's worse.
Oh, well, sure. The drive up, it's like you just woke up and you're good. You can wake up on the drive and you're good. And the drive back. Now today's not as hot, so today's drive back won't be as bad. Where you feel gross and you just want to go home and run in the shower.
Yeah.
Drive back today won't be as bad. It's also a little overcast, a little consistent rain. It'll be good.
Someone said both, but Cody has a shady track record with the accident in the new car.
Oh, he got rear-ended on the highway.
I got rear-ended. That had nothing to do with
I was
me.
Say that wasn't Cody's
I'm
fault.
a safe driver. You know I use cruise control.
That actually,
We're getting there safe and
We
quiet.
don't need to get into the cruise control conversation with Drew again, but that would be my answer why I couldn't ride, I think, in a car long-term with Drew, because I feel like we'd be not the consistent speed the whole time.
That would be, the consistency. That would be the interesting thing. Riding with Cody, like you're just going. It's like, hey man, you are holding the speed real
He
good.
drove
It's
the
like,
whole
yeah.
way to St. Louis. I thought we were. He was. I thought
We
it
were
was,
fine.
Yeah, I thought it was
I was
good.
going to say, we've been in the car plenty of time.
In fact, he drove back at like 2 a.m. from the St. Louis. Remember, because there was a rain delay for
Yeah.
the. We got back late,
And we had
It was
no issues.
downpour. It was a bad.
That was
yeah.
the only part of the drive that was sketchy, and it wasn't my fault.